Warning: all stories could be completely made up, and we have no way to confirm that. Any and all names mentioned in the show are most likely fake. We at Campfire Moto Stories are not journalists and should not be considered as much. If you're offended by anything said or shown in this episode, we don't care, but we encourage you to voice your opinion so we can laugh at the fact that you can't control your emotions. This program contains full language, and I recommend no one to watch or listen to this.
The views and opinions expressed in the program are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the sponsor, any advertisers, or the sponsor's affiliates, employees, or partners.
Coming to you live from the Claremont Lounge in Atlanta, Georgia, it's Campfire Moto Stories.
Hey everyone, welcome to Campfire Moto Stories. I'm Anthony Bennett. I'm thrilled to have you join us today for our live show. This YouTube show / podcast is all about sharing amazing motorcycle stories, everyday riders like you. Whether it's an epic ride, funny mishap, or an unforgettable adventure, we want to hear it all. Today, we have some fantastic guests in the studio who we'll introduce in just a moment, where we'll dive into their riding stories. Plus, we have exciting segments lined up, including pre-recorded interviews, Billy's tech tips, spotlight a stolen bike, and stories sent in by you through the website and or phone line. At 8:30 sharp, we'll open the phone lines and give our live viewers a chance to call in and share their own motorcycle story. Lastly, you'll get to hear an awesome story from my 5-year-old son about riding. May or may not be completely made up. But hey, 5-year-old can tell a great story, so can you. Don't forget, you can earn entries into our YZ250 giveaway by participating in the show. Check out campfiremotostories.com for all the official rules, and by participating in any way, shape, or form, indicate that you've read the official rules, our terms and conditions. Let's get it started.
Another lap around the wall, another request, another call. All I hear, I can't lie. I feel all the
Hey, welcome to Campfire Moto Stories. I'm your host, Anthony Bennett, and it's Season 2, Episode 1. Gave away a bike last show. Had a good time with my buddy Rodney, and today I've got my good buddy Corey Burkett in studio. How you doing,
Good.
buddy?
You said the last name right.
Burkett?
Burkett, yeah.
Well, how do people usually say it?
Burkett.
Burkett?
Which that's just like the southern, like my dad's Corey Burkett.
Okay,
That's
I could see
Burkett.
it.
Burkett Smooth.
I've always known it as Burkett.
Burkett Smooth.
Yeah.
It's professional.
I mean, it's got a little like pinky out kind of thing compared to Burkett, or Burkett,
Burkett.
but you know. So I know you've watched a few episodes since I told you you're going to come on with me, and you may or may not have picked up on this, but I always start with an icebreaker, just in case you're a little nervous.
Hang on. Am I supposed to be able
No.
to see myself?
That's just for
Oh.
like things that I want to show people.
Oh.
I turn the camera to it,
Okay.
and they can see what's on the
Okay.
screen.
So,
So yeah, you can't see what's going on right
okay.
now.
All right.
Yeah,
Icebreaker.
icebreaker. Why the hell does Josh call you Paul?
Do you not have a clue?
I don't. I literally don't have a clue.
So Josh is my roommate for everybody listening, or was my roommate. Our old landlord, his name was Paul Iannelli, and he was like the postmaster of the Ackworth post office.
Okay.
And for some reason, I don't know why, but it was just, he was an interesting guy.
Uh-huh.
And he would always come by, change the air filters, collect the rent.
Okay.
And then it was just something that stuck. That's like, oh, it was Paul. He would always just say, Paul's your dad. I'm like, my dad? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, Paul's your
Just 'cause he was an
dad.
odd dude.
Yeah. He's like, no, that's your dad. So now every time it's like Paul. He never calls me by my name. It's always Paul. He's like, and he says it a certain way.
Okay.
I wish you were here to say it the way he
Yeah,
says
but
it.
you know, his kid's got basketball games, so he can't make it.
Baseball.
No, I thought it was baseball. My
Okay.
wife corrected me, and it was basketball.
Basketball, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he's got basketball today, so he can't make it. It's like, fuck your kids. They'll be fine.
Oh, so we can say words.
Oh, yeah, we can.
Oh.
This is not for kids. We can say whatever the hell we want.
All right.
So one other thing, in fact, now I'm gonna have people.
I'm going
do
to try
this.
not to cuss.
Yeah.
I'm going to try not to say anything negative about anyone.
But that was one other thing I was gonna say too. Like, try not to say. That was like one of the other rules I forgot to tell you is don't talk shit on people.
No, I'm not.
Like,
So
yeah.
my New Year's resolution is if you don't have anything good to say,
Put it on Facebook.
exactly. Oh.
All right. Well, speaking of nothing good to say, so this picture is the icebreaker part 2.
Okay. I remember this like it was yesterday.
Okay, so this muscle milk race, and I tried my best to find a picture here, but
I know who. So you know the two guys next to me,
who's that?
the Gassani brothers,
Oh,
the Church's Chicken brothers,
I know the name.
Irfan and Imran.
Yeah. I don't think I ever got to meet him or whatever.
Okay.
All right, so the icebreaker part, especially, is since you texted me and asked if I'm going to end up getting you a divorce, and I said no promises. So there was a girl here that was the 30-second card girl at the muscle milk race.
Oh,
Yeah.
forgot all about. I did not remember that, but I do now.
But
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you remember this part. So let's just say she was stacked is the easiest way to say it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I remember it as I went up to you and Lindsay, and I was like, God damn, do you see the 30-second girl? I just want to... And you go, that's my girlfriend.
I don't remember that, but I'm not surprised. I'm not, but I forgot all about that part because wasn't it? Was it Tony? Was it Tony Morris? Who was? No, it was the not Tony Morris. There was
I know
another
who
guy.
you're talking about.
He always rides the Cubs.
Yeah.
The Honda Cub, or the Cubs all
I
over.
think you actually might have the name right, but it's
Morris.
Tony. Yeah.
Tony
I know
Morris.
it's
Yeah,
Tony.
yeah. So I think
but
he was the
the official
kind of helping. Yeah, 'cause
rep.
Kevin
Yeah.
Kelly, I think,
Kevin
helped
was
run
putting
these.
it on.
Yeah. And then Morris was doing like the officiating and whatnot. And I knew Tony just from seeing him at races and stuff. And
Yeah.
then kind of put all that together. Yeah, it was interesting. But
Yeah,
I don't remember that, but
fun
I'm
race.
not surprised.
But I
yeah.
figured you wouldn't really be in and out. But I just remember kind of one of those things where I was like, I can't believe I just said that.
Yeah. Because it was like I think she had a Roost MX shirt on. It was like cut up, like sleeves cut off of it and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish they would do more of those races.
Yeah,
that was fun, just for the pit bike sake of it.
It was a lot of fun. The second night, because they did 2 weekends in a row, the second weekend was a lot better. And I remember I could actually look up the date pretty easy because we were sitting there with Rachel. I don't remember her name, lesbian chick.
Yes, that was Lindsay's friend,
Yeah.
photographer girl.
What was her last name?
I don't remember her last name.
Either way, probably shouldn't say it. But anyways, super cool chick. But we're sitting there, and I had it was so cold. It was around this time of year, and the front end dropped on me going through the first double because of the Honda bog. It was so cold, I didn't jet it right. Jacked my knee all up. So we're sitting like in the top thing, like watching the race, and Rachel goes, Whitney Houston just died. And she's like, I went to school with her daughter. Like she knew her and her daughter or something like that. And so that's why it's easy enough to go back and look at the date of that thing. So that race always sticks for me kind of for that reason, just being up there like, you know her daughter kind of thing.
Yeah, I think we had like a roost set up there or something. I do remember that. Like basically it was behind the starting gate where that camera's at. And then there was pit bike races both nights.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Because they did a Friday,
plaques.
Saturday, both weekends.
I got second and third behind. So I got second one night. There was a kid named Colby that was he rode big bike. He rode B class. Mullins, yeah. Dude, he smoked everybody. He rode Chris Denny's. It was like a board KLX 110.
Oh yeah. Well, Chris had ridiculous pit bikes with their pit bike track, and Colby was their neighbor.
Well, he was hitting the catapult on the thing, and he was like there was another kid out there that had like a perimeter like style BBR bike, and he was hitting the catapult. But that was a launch for a pit bike, and I remember Colby hitting it. There's a video floating around somewhere, might be on YouTube or whatever, of like a last lap pass with it was me, Colby, Bailey Kroom, and there was somebody else. There was like 3 or 4 of us going into the corner. Colby had just like edged everybody out to go over the finish, and the tough block had got pushed like way into the high side of the berm, like so. Everybody's thinking like, "Oh, I got to go around this berm," and you see me just, and I went from 4th to 2nd in the last second, and I ended up getting a 2nd place for that. But
nobody protested you, and honestly, that's fair because it got moved.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
the markers
I can't remember. I remember it was Bailey and somebody else, but that was fun.
Yeah,
good times.
So did you do it the next weekend too, or just
yeah? We were there for both weekends.
Both weekends. Yeah.
I
think the second layout track was the next weekend track was a lot better. The first one was a little more too tame, and the second one at least
that one was
dude finish line triple or something like that.
Yeah, everything on that track I did on a pit bike except for the catapult. And the whoops to the far right, you could blitz those on a pit bike.
Yeah.
It was just
They were
wheelie
they were a little too small for a big bike, but I could see on a
But I remember dudes
almost
going through those whoops on big bikes, and they were like going into the stands, like
Well, no, because there was people waiting like in staging right there.
at the end.
And they would people would get taken out all the time in that thing.
Good times.
Oh yeah. Arena class races are always good to watch for C class.
That's
I
what-
mean, C class on a Saturday night is always good to watch. You go to the beginner class and C class lines.
Do you remember the name of that arena?
I don't
Henderson Arena.
really.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say I remember it
Don't know
in
why I
like
remember that.
South Fulton Road or something
Yeah.
like that. I could drive there probably, but I couldn't tell you the name of that one. But all right, so we got
Any more
those two.
brain busters?
No,
Okay.
that was the two things. I did talk to your buddy Michael Sizemore today.
Oh.
He called me. I got some stories from him I'm going to talk about too.
What did he call you for?
Well, I reached out to him
Oh.
and was like, "Hey, Corey's on. You got
Oh.
any stories?" And he called me. He's like, "Oh yeah,
Oh,
I've got
dude.
some stories for you."
Yeah, him and I we go back. He's a nut.
Yeah, so why don't you tell some of them, and I'm going to see if I can remember any of I'll bring up any memories that you may have skipped over or glossed over from him. So, yeah, because it was you, you text me Clint Sheely, Derek Fisher, and Sizemore were all kind of hanging around together
Yeah,
a lot more in
so-
your youth.
Yeah, so way back before. So when I first started riding, first time I ever went to a track, I was on like an XR80.
Mhm.
Had water boots, like literally rubber boot. You remember High Fall Supercross?
I never went there, but I know of it.
So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like 20 minutes from my house. And that's what everybody, we go to High Fall Supercross Friday night races. And then, so I
I'm
had an
moving
XR.
this to where they can't see it right now, but if there's pictures that you want to be like, oh, this is to do with that, then I can
Oh,
pull
I
them
doubt
up
it.
too.
So first time I ever went out to High Falls, I was on this like 86 XR80. I was like 10, 11 years
hey,
old.
no shit. I think I had the same year. Maybe it was like
The orange one had the, yeah.
blue seat,
Blue
orange,
seat,
yes.
yeah.
I had the same one.
I don't think it had any graphics on it, but so I had that thing. But my mom bought it at a pawn shop for $400 because I wanted a dirt bike because I had four wheelers all the way up until this.
Yeah, let's see. I got a picture of that right here. I was gonna bring up. You started
Still
on
have that.
quads, bro. You
That-
still have
dude,
it? That's
my-
awesome.
So it's in my shop right now. That is an LT50. It's like an 82 or 84 model.
Is it still in that good a shape?
Yeah, I mean it looks identical to that.
Because there was another picture got. Oh, did it not save?
I don't
Huh.
know.
Weird. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Dude, you dove deep into some archives. That was a
Yeah, man.
TRX 125.
Oh, so that's not the same.
No, that's not the
it's
same.
so blurry. It's tough to tell.
That's like an 86 TRX 125, which
Okay.
that thing would completely just dismember your spine if you rode it because it had no suspension. It was just air tires. But that's me and my grandma. I still have that Chevrolet in the back too.
Oh, nice.
That was my mom's truck. She gave it to me when I was in high school. And
Oh, so your mom put some miles on that thing.
oh
huh?
yeah, that truck's got 470 miles on the original motor.
Those aren't the miles I was talking about, sir.
Ah. Mm. Where were we?
Your mom in the truck.
The original miles. Okay. She's probably
just
listening to
talking
this.
honestly about the 50. The
Oh, the LT50. Still got it.
yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So it'll be Cal's, my little boys, when he gets old enough, and
Yeah.
we'll throw him on it. And then I ain't gonna keep him on four wheels long. It's
No, Stasics are the way to go.
yeah. Which Irfan actually gave him a little two-wheeled small
It's got like
Push
two wheels
bike,
in the front, two
yeah.
wheels in the back. Yeah,
little
my
bitty
kid's
thing.
got one.
Yeah, it's like the
So-
pre-Stasic
What color is it?
brown, I think. Tan
Oh
or something.
no. Okay. So Daniel got me one for like a baby shower gift for my kid, and it was orange. He did it to fuck with me because no one
Yeah.
like more of a Yamaha guy. So I actually took the whole thing apart, spray painted it baby blue, and I had a guy I know make stickers for the side that says YZ2 Feety. Like
That's
2
pretty good.
feet.
250. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
So I was gonna say, if it's brown, paint it whatever color you want.
Oh, we got
And get you some of those stickers made.
yeah.
And CRF 250.
Yeah, we got
you
an
know.
AutoZone down the street. Get some of that pearlescent paint.
Hell yeah.
Rattle it up.
You painted cars before. You
Absolutely.
Could do that, right?
It didn't. Me painting cars wasn't good, but
Dude, I cannot.
yeah, we put a lot of money
It's
into
a lot more of an art than a lot of people think. And a
Yeah.
lot of it is really more of the the pre-work and patience.
Prepping is huge because
Very much prepping.
you don't realize how terrible your prep work is until you start laying some paint on it.
Yep.
And then
And
you
if
see
you
it
go
pop.
too close or go too fast, it just looks like shit. I don't have good patience to hold a sprayer at the right angle and go back and forth.
And then you're like walking down the side of the car, and then you're like I said, not my forte.
I'm sure if I was to spend a year doing it, I would be mediocre at it.
Brantley, you know,
yeah.
Yes, he's probably listening right now. Like, what the hell? Like, these guys don't know how to paint.
No, yeah. So funny enough, Brantley was going to get that electric bike. And,
I was with him.
And I didn't know this until after I sent in our group chat the link to our show today and was like, and you guys know my buddy Corey? And we were giving him all kinds of shit before going to get the electric bike. Like, this guy's going to rob you. You're going to get shot. And all he said to us is, one of my buddies and I are going. We're both strapped. We'll be good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until after I sent the link. He's like, that's who we want me to get the electric bike. I was like, are you kidding me? I didn't know you and
I haven't talked to him in a while. He just hit me up. He's like, hey, man, I got to come to your side of town and pick up this e-bike from Marketplace. I'm like, all right. He goes, you mind riding with me just to help me load it? I'm like, sure. And then he starts like flavoring in some like, yeah, it might be a little sketchy. And then he sends me the address. I'm like, dude, I know exactly where that is, and you don't need to go by yourself. So he's like, well, if you can't make it, like, I understand. I'm like, dude, now I feel guilty. Like, if you end up on the news, I won't be able to live. And so I was like, yeah, dude, just give me a time. And I was like, I get off at 5, so I'll meet you at like 5:36. It's starting to get dark. And then I met him over in Mableton, and it was everything up until the point of us loading it up could have gone sideways.
Well, what's funny is, like, when he started telling me some of the details about it, and I looked in the guy a little bit too, I was like, 90% this is legit. You can look at certain things about it and, like, look at the ad and kind of tell a few things and know, because here's the reality. That guy gets in a bunch and he sells them out of there. He doesn't want to bring people to his storage unit too that things might rob him, where they just kink and take the rest of his stuff. I was like, I think this will be okay.
Did you read the guy's reviews on Facebook? They weren't great.
They weren't?
No, they were like, this is a scam. This guy won't answer me.
So I did, but I could kind of see through some of that stuff where if you don't respond to somebody in the right way, they can rate you bad. And they can also do, like, I had somebody rate me bad because I sold somebody else something where I told them I'm not holding it for them, you know? So I can kind of see through some of those things. And honestly, if they're like, he won't respond to me or this is a scam, that person might believe it's a scam. We both kind of thought it was a scam, right? They don't know. So they're just warning people. The other person that he didn't respond to me, well, the guy may have been a dick to him and he didn't respond to him. So yeah, I did see some of those things and I was like,
yeah, the guy was cool after all. After we got there and everything, he was all good.
Tell Brantley we're talking shit about him right now.
Have you ridden his?
Really, asshole?
I mean, it ain't like you're hitting doubles or you ride around the neighborhood.
No, I mean, I literally just did this on New Year's Eve and just found out Wednesday that it's broke, but it's not too bad. So actually, because I figured this would get brought up and I wanted to bring it up, why not? So I broke this in 2020, same wrist, and went to the same doctor. Just actually did my buddy's.
So that doesn't look like anything off my page.
You know, this one's mine. So on the left is the pictures from 2020 where I had the surgery done, right? And this is kind of interesting where I just kind of wanted to bring it up on the show. And you can see this little guy right here, right? This is a calcium deposit from this break and everything that was done that grew. When my wrist bent back, this calcium deposit and this calcium deposit clicked and broke that. And so what was interesting about it is, because I've broken up shit to where I was like, oh, well, this is the other crazy part to the story of it. So I'm at Big Springs, and I'm on their first little double, and as I'm in the air, it's a little 50-foot double, the front wheel just goes wind, like a big, strong gust. I've had bikes blow me over in the air before, and I've landed off the track, but it's straight. I'm always straight while I'm being blown sideways. It literally just took it like this. So I landed thinking everything is fine, and I just kind of land sideways, and I'd ride out. Well, when it landed, it tucked. So my hands were on the bars the whole way to the ground, which is why it scarred that up, because it was still on. But when it landed, it folded it back. So the one bone kissed the other bone and cracked it. So as I was thinking to myself, like, it wasn't that bad of a crash, but this is burning, like her bone hurts when it breaks. And then as he's feeling, this is a funny part to it. So he's feeling on this wrist, and he gets right to this part on the other one, and he squeezes, and I see his face go. I said, oh, that's from a break in 2002. He's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
EMT there or
No,
orthopedic?
the doctor, the orthopedic doctor I saw Wednesday. The same guy that did that surgery that put the screw in. So yeah, as he's feeling it, he just gives me this weird look, and I'm like, yeah, that's old.
Normal.
Don't worry about that.
We're not scared of this.
So when he told me and explained what happened, I was like, that makes so much sense, because I even said to my wife, I feel like it's either a bad sprain, a minor break, or just everything from the surgery broken up from a first good impact.
Yeah.
Because you know how you, like, after a knee injury or whatever, the first dab or first hit, you're like, oh, I actually have my movement back, you know?
Kind of freeze it up a little bit, yeah.
So I thought that was what it was going to be, but it actually did break a bone, which I was like, everything makes sense now.
So what's the difference between these two pictures we're looking at? It's the same wrist?
Same wrist. One on the left's 2020, on the right is Wednesday.
Oh, so that's okay. So you don't have surgery in it now. So the hardware in there is what was already in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this right here is broke, like right there, from where that hit that when it went back all the way.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought that was kind of weird. I've never had that kind of thing happen before. But Brantley said he's listening to us talk shit about him. Yeah.
Oh, Brantley.
That would have been fun to have him in studio, because I've got some funny stories about how we met and things like that.
I'm trying to remember. I met Brantley through the car world.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I never even knew he had rode motorcycles up until I started working at Roost.
Mm-hmm.
But I met him through a buddy that builds cars and stuff like that. So.
Well, he's got that badass 240 SX.
Yeah.
Drift car. And actually, I was telling him, like, hey, can you go ahead and say if you do get shot before when you go to that guy that I can have the drift car? And he's like, it's not even mine, because it's in his dad's name or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was messing with him a lot. Like, can I at least have the beta? Can you send nudes that you have? Can you do? They're going to be lost forever if you don't.
A beta.
Yeah, he's had a beta forever.
Yeah. Before I even knew what a beta was, it was like, now they're got a supercross team.
Yeah. So back to riding and some of your stories, though. So Michael Sizemore, you and him rode a lot.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell us some good stories back in the day.
Honestly, there's plenty. I guess when I first met Michael, though, he was, like I said, I just started, no clue what's going on, like super squid. And when I realized the XR80 wasn't going to cut it, I ended up getting a brand new YZ125. That was in '99. It was a 2000 model, and went back to High Falls. And I was like, okay, this is more of a bike you ride here at High Falls. So started doing, I think it was High Falls and Calhoun had these night races that were like collabing on, and it would do like alternate weekends.
I only knew about Bremen and Calhoun doing that. So that was
and I may have it mixed up. I know High Falls was doing it with it was ICR, International City Raceway, down in like Warner Robins.
That was close before I got here.
Okay, yeah. So they would alternate. You know, this weekend High Falls, this weekend ICR, and dude, I'm out there like me and some buddies from school or whatever, and we all suck. And then out of nowhere, my stepdad was talking to this guy, and it ended up being Michael's dad. And I always heard like, oh, Sizemore, dude, he's super fast. He's, he kills it around here, da da da. Well, I finally meet him at one of the High Falls races, and he's wearing like a full back brace, and he's just walking around. I'm like,
how old would he have been at this point?
He was probably 15 or 16, because I was like 12 or 13. He's a few years older than I am. And dude had a enclosed trailer full of Cowies, that big wheels, KX100s, KX85s, and he was like selling them. And I guess that's when he just moved up to big bikes. So he's getting 125s and stuff like that.
Yeah, 15, yeah.
Yeah, and
was that like a Capital Cycle sponsor deal, or was that actually like Team Green? Do you remember?
So he was. I'm pretty sure he was Team Green.
May have been like B level, even if it's not, because they've got like the A and the B tier.
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what all support he had, but that's basically when I got to know him or whatever, and then he started riding again. And the first time I ever seen this dude ride a dirt bike, I'm like, this is insane. Like,
That's how you're supposed to actually. do it, kind of
I'm
thing.
thinking like high falls, dude. I'm winning the beginner class. I'm winning like within a year. I move up to C class, and we're dropping gate like a full gate. It was like 15 there, and they're dropping the gate, and I'm beating 2 classes, and I'm like, oh, dude, I got this. I'll be a Supercross pro in no time. And then, so that's several years of that, and then Michael raced all like the AMA. He had to go to like Silver Dollar. He'd go to Ichiconi. He'd go to Hillbilly Hills, and I remember him. He was like, dude, we got to race at Silver Dollar this weekend. You should come. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, here we go. So my first AMA race was at Silver Dollar. I've never experienced anything like this. This is full gate. It's whatever series they were running then. And you got a full 40-man gate. And it's just like, dude, I'm out of my league. Like, I have no business being here. And I don't know if I sent you a picture of me on a YZ 125.
Yeah. Here, I'll pull it up. Keep talking.
Yeah. So that was the first AMA race I ever had. I'm on the far right side gate, and got to be in there somewhere. I'm on the far right side gate strategically because I did not want to be in the mix with all these other guys. And on top of that,
what the hell? Yeah, that isn't in here. I swore I saved all the ones that you'd sent me.
Well, on top of
I'll
all
find
that,
it in just a second. Keep going.
Sizemore would not let me sign up for beginner class. He's like, oh, you got to sign up for C class. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I win all the high falls races in beginner. Like, I'll sign up for C class. So we're at Silver Dollar, and he signs me up for C class, and I show up, and I'm just like, dude, I remember going out for practice and just dudes jumping over my head. And I'm like, I have no business at this place. So I line up on the right side. I remember the gate drops, and when the gate drops, I'm acting like I'm engaged. I'm going straight. Everybody else is turning left. So I stayed out of harm's way. That was the first like big gate drop I ever did, and I was scared to death.
So it asked me if I wanted to replace it.
No, there it is, right there.
It is.
Yeah.
It wasn't there a second ago, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Posture. Look at the gear. Fox boots.
Dude,
I've been
gear. Digging some year. All right, is 928 Chris Inc?
I have no
can't
clue.
remember if he's 928 or 929.
At least my visor looks better than the guy next to me.
Yeah, dude, this was like the epitome of like 01, 02. What year was this?
Well, it had to been 99 or 2000 because that was a 2000 year bike.
Yeah,
and
just the
gear,
no fear gear, that Fox chest protector.
No, that's Thor.
I know, but I'm this guy, right? The Fox gear there, that chest protector just brings back a lot of memories from back in the day.
Smith Warp, I think that's what was it? Yep. The Smith Warp goggles. That was so get this. That's a Pro Circuit shoey helmet, like the replica Pro Circuit helmet.
Yeah.
No clue why I have that. It just looked cool.
I will say though, when I saw this, I was like, "Damn, that was actually a pretty good, clean looking 01 or 98 to 01 was the same style bike."
I think 01 2000 had the all blue seat. 01 they went with the black stripe on top.
Yeah. It's amazing the things you'll remember that. Like you could show me a picture of any year Honda and I could tell you what year it is,
And all those stickers, and dude, that's not even half of them. I don't even know where those stickers came from. I think I had I bought like a pair of Vans, and they come with like a sticker kit, and I just started plastering Van stickers all over the bike. Yeah, that's good times. But yeah, that was a good race. And then Sizemore raced. He was doing pro class, so I mean, he was. Every race I went to with that dude, there was some controversy, and people were wanting to fight him or his dad in the pits, it was hilarious. I want to say it was that race specifically. There was some dude from Florida that Michael punted off the track to win, and I'm sure there was some money involved, but the dude ended up showing up at the pits.
Oh, always, of course.
And it was a guy that was pretty, like he was a small guy with a bigger guy. And me and Michael always have the same.
I wish you'd remember their name because me being from Florida, I probably know him.
I can't remember. And I'm sure Michael knows who it is, like if we were to ask him. But yeah, so anyway, that was a good story. And then, you remember Chad Albritton?
Oh, I remember Chad. He's actually one of the faster dudes I first got to hang out when I moved to Georgia. Yeah. And he taught me a lot of really cool starting techniques and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sucks that we lost him. And let's just be honest with what it is. He got into drugs.
I have no clue how he got. I just knew he passed away.
He went down to a bad road, and that's how we lost him, unfortunately. But he was a trainer at MTF when I.
Oh, was he?
Or shortly after when I met him, he wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, Michael had the pro class at High Falls was basically Michael and Chad. Chad had these old, or they were new then, but the DKNY like Husky 2-strokes. And then Michael had Cowies, and they were, dude, everybody be lined up on the fence watching these two dudes just dice it out the whole time.
Yeah, because the 2 classes you're going to watch, pro class, beginner, or C.
Yeah.
That's
dude, High Falls was such a cool place. I mean, it was like a little bitty, like small, and it wasn't a stadium, but it was like from the pits, you were above the track. So you could line up the whole side of the track and kind of look down into like this little bowl. And you could see it, and they had lights and everything. Half the time the lights didn't work. It was very ghetto, but it was fun for what it was. I have so many memories of like going there every Friday night just for the races. And that's like something you knew how to do. Like every Friday, you got to go there.
That's honestly exactly how Dade City is burned into my brain too. It's up a little bit higher. You can kind of see everything, and that was every Saturday night kind of thing. And then when I moved up here, it was to Bremen. Bremen Saturday nights were
Bremen was sick.
Thursday and Saturday. Yeah. That was the place to be. That's the hot ticket.
Yeah, that's transitioning into Michael knowing Clint, Derek.
And I know those names, but I don't think I ever met those guys. I wonder if they kind of went out, or I never got to race.
Yeah, they were old. They were all older. All those guys were older than I was. But it was cool because, like, here I am. This kind of like the segue of like the rest of my life. But there's like me, this beginner rider dude that's hanging out with these fast guys. So I got to see a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
But there was those Bremen races you're talking about. I would show up. I'd be with Sizemore, Clint, and Derek, and we'd be. I think Clint had like a big white van, or either his big lifted F-150, and we'd go to those night races, and those 3 dudes would be battling with. I mean, there were so many fast dudes at Bremen. Like,
oh yeah,
those guys would be battling with like 6, 7 other guys in the pro class. There was some dude, I can't remember his name. He always rode a Honda, and he had just like number 6 on it.
Bremen? What year?
I'd been like 05, 03, 04, somewhere in there.
It wasn't until 07 that I came here, but I still feel like I'd probably have known the name. Daniel would know the name.
Not Chris. Michael will know who it is. He knows all those. He remember all those dudes. Anytime I ask him, hey, dude, you remember so and so rode this bike?
Oh yeah,
it was this guy. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of stories. I mean, with me and Michael.
So how about how Mike had this sick practice track at his backyard, and he talked you into hitting this big double for the first time? Do you recall what happened with that, sir?
Well, yeah. It was actually on that bike, that Yamaha.
Oh yeah. That was one of the things when he called and told me.
Kind of, we go back to High Falls. Everything's doable. You hit every jump out there, like even as a beginner rider, like you hit everything. So as I started to get better, me and Michael rode every weekend. Like any chance we could, we were riding. And obviously riding with him, I got better and better and better. I was never at his level, but he was always like just pushing me around. He's like bullying me around.
You got to ride with faster people to get better and move up a class before you're ready for it. I mean, I was in C when I should have been in beginner, B when I was in C, and A when I should have been in B. And then once I got there, I was like, oh fuck! Now I can't race B class at all. Yeah. So there was a letter.
So there was it was me, Michael. There was another dude named Alan White, who's one of our buddies. He's half the reason why I went to MMI, so we can get on that later.
We'll get into that.
And then there was a couple other guys that would come out and ride, and I live right down the street from Michael, so. Hey, man, we're riding today. You coming? All right, cool. Let me load up. I head over. So I just turned like 16 years old. Head over there. And, I mean, looking back on it now, dude, his track was insane. It was like a full-blown supercross track in the backyard.
That's exactly what he said.
It was massive.
It was like
everything was huge. And that's about the time he was getting ready to race supercross, too. So he was like going into that. So that would have been like 04, 05. And I remember going out there, and I'm like, dude, I'm rolling everything. I'm like, dude, I'm not hitting anything out here. Like, this is insane. I do remember he had a small triple out of a corner right in front of his, like, going away from his shop, and I would double out of it. because that was like the most
one,
mellow,
the one doable one that you felt comfortable with. Yeah.
And then he's like, dude, you got this double right here. You got this double right here. It's too easy. And I'm like, all right. Of course, I'd come around. He's like, dude, just second gear, hold it on. Hit
Probably
it.
did that. Just do that.
Oh.
Like, you know, just.
Well, he had this uncanny ability to talk me into anything. Like, he would just be like, dude, you got it. Like, he was so like confident, more confident in me than I was.
Yeah.
So I come around and second gear. And I'm like, all right, he's telling me to, second gear, just roll it on. And I hit it, dude. And this thing was peaked. And I remember just frame casing it. And just basically stopping on the face of it, rolling back down the backside of it. I go straight into my truck and just like drop my bike. And my leg was like, I had nothing left. I couldn't stand on it. So he goes inside and gets me some crutches. And for the rest of the day, I'm watching them ride.
Yeah.
Because he taught me into this shit.
That's exactly what he said. But he said the only difference was you let off on the face.
Probably did. Yeah.
So that's where he told you to go. Burr, 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 you did burr, 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 burr,
that makes it. Yeah. Dude, like I said, I'm not bullshitting you. He had in the middle of his track, there was like this, it's kind of like what you'd imagine a catapult being, but it was like a single to table.
Yeah.
And dude, it was every bit of 100 feet. And Michael would hit this thing and just be upside down over it. And I'm just like, so he's like, dude, you can hit that. I'm like, dude, I wadded up over here.
How big was the one that he talked the other one?
Oh, dude, it was small.
About?
It was probably, I mean, it was peak, but it was probably like a standard like 40, 50 foot double, like nothing crazy. Like, it was like a standard double. It was just like, peak to peak. But this jump, several months later, he ended up getting me to hit everything out there. But this jump specifically, the one with the single to table, it was a really long finish.
Mm-hmm.
So you could kind of jump and jump and jump. And I would get to where I would basically jump all the way 3/4 to the end of the landing. And I would never commit.
Worse.
I know.
Worse.
And even always
doing the whole thing.
I would just. And he's like, dude, if you just like give it a little more, you're finishing the jump, and it's so much smoother. But like I said, that was early days of riding when I had, dude, it was silly.
You know what's funny is I can relate him and that track to my buddy. I want to say Timmy Baker, but that's not it. Tim Hafke? No, Tim Hafke. Oh my God, how have I forgot Timmy's name? He lived in Riverview, Florida. He had this sick track. He was a guy that could have
I didn't
made
know you were
it
from
kind of
Florida.
pro. Yeah. You can't tell how white trash I am? By the way, like very similar stuff, like peaky jumps. I am beginner class, about to go into C class, should have no business hitting these things. In fact, that's the first time I broke this wrist when he was feeling on it, was at Timmy's house. There was a set of rhythms, and I cased the last one. The hand goes in between the brake lever and the gas lever, and as it went, all the way over, the hand was in the brake the whole time, getting...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Swashed around?
Yeah, just swashed around. So I can relate to being at a track like that with somebody who's so good and like, you got this.
Yeah.
But Timmy's like mid-30s too at this point, and I'm 15, 16. Like, no business.
Very
doing
humbling.
that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But dude, when you finally get some of those jumps, like there's like a 60-foot, what would be like a supercross finish line that he had built. Like, dude, it was the coolest feeling in the world when you first get a big jump like that.
Yeah, smooth. A lot smoother. I don't think I actually started like progressing until I got on a 250F. That was in 05. That was when I finally like it started to like click. Because I rode this 125 till the wheels basically fell off of it. And I don't even know how I had credit, but I had enough credit to go like finance a bike through Honda. And that was when they come out with the dual exhaust ones. Which was probably the worst bike. I should have got the 05 because the 06 250F Honda was like, it was just not good.
Yeah, funny enough, I actually remember financing the 04 CRF 250. This was the first thing I could finance at like 18.
Oh, yeah. Probably 18% interest.
I don't remember what it was, but I remember my mom was working at that Honda dealership at the time, so I did at least get it for cost plus $100 kind of thing. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure Michael put that into motion too. Me buying the Honda. I can't remember. It was from
freewheeling.
Maybe it was out in like Fayetteville.
Cycle Specialties. Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I know they're KTM. I can't remember if they're Honda or not.
Well, I bought a CBR there too. CBR 600.
Well, that's the one that's in Fayetteville. It's Cycle Specialties.
Okay.
There's like the sports manager or something like that.
Yeah, I
I've
don't
gone
remember.
down there and get some stuff from him before. Pick it up from Bentley. He like dropped it off there for me to pick up. It was close to my work kind of thing when I was down in Jonesboro.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was the 250F's when it finally started to like click. And then by that time, I'd put enough time on a 125 and like fundamentals had started to kind of get roughed in a little bit. So, but just riding with him every day was like a mess. And it wasn't even, the best stories weren't even on motorcycles. It was the things we did off the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Because Michael wanted to fight everybody. And he just had this ability to like, and I don't even think he wanted to fight. It just,
he had the ability to antagonize people.
Dude, he
probably
would
because
piss
he was
people
too
off.
good.
Oh, dude, he would piss people off so bad. And like I said, it wouldn't even be, we could be in like Walmart and he would piss somebody off just for, and he was just a shithead.
Yeah.
And it was just comedy. Everywhere we went, it was comedy. I remember sitting in a Wendy's drive-thru. He had this like an 86 Mazda, like the truck, the like B2000 or whatever they were.
Oh, yeah.
So we're
It's
sitting
basically the same thing as a Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Ford
we're
Ranger.
sitting in the Wendy's drive-thru, and we'd always go to Wendy's before we go ride or after and get the little 50-cent cheeseburgers or whatever back then. So we're sitting there, and
You're showing your age,
Yeah.
bro.
So-
25-cent Frosty.
oh, dude, they were cheap. I mean, let's put it this way: everything we paid for came out of his ashtray, like loose change. But there was this guy. We're sitting in line at the drive-thru, and this like homeless dude comes up. And the guy's like asking Michael for some money. He's like, dude, you got any change? And he's like, no, dude, like I barely have enough to pay for the food here. And this dude's like getting like pushy at this point. And Michael's like, dude, I told you I don't have no money. And the next thing I know, the ashtray comes out and Michael's putting it in this dude's face, like launches it, just smashes him in the face. And there we go.
Full of coins.
Oh,
kind
full of
thing.
money. Yeah. Well, there we go. I'm like, dude, like, I mean, it was just, I don't know. That was just some of the stuff.
He was literally making it hail
He was.
instead of making
not
it
rain.
rain.
Yeah, it
he
was
made
money,
hail.
hard money. Dad joke. That was a dad joke.
Well, I'm a dad. I'm allowed to make those. Dude, I'll make a dad joke and I'll say 1 time out of 10 my kid will laugh, and the other time he just
Don't even laugh. Nothing.
it's like not funny.
Yeah.
And I'll even get like my wife will get like a kind of, and my kid's not funny.
I think it's funnier to us now
Oh,
that
yeah,
we're
yeah.
older. It's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
dry humor.
Oh yeah. I did a video earlier today about the show. I doubt you got to see it, but I might as well do it now since we're on this topic.
What are these photos?
Don't worry about the photos.
Can people
dude.
see this stuff now?
No, they can't see what we're looking at right now. I swore dude, something is going on with my.
And then why is there a Mad Skills motocross time slot?
Hey, we'll get to that. Just relax. I went creeping on Facebook and all kinds of shit. All right, just relax. No. All right. I don't know what I did with it. Maybe I didn't save it. By the way, I did a video about coming onto the show beforehand, and I'll find it and play it later.
Okay.
But so back to the stories about some of the things that he told me. You definitely didn't bring this one up. So, what happened to your bike around the Summit exit on I-75?
My bike around the Summit exit.
Getting onto I-75, driving on. Something happened to one of your bikes.
Wait, say that again?
Something happened to one of your bikes that was in your truck at the Summit exit on I-75.
Keep going.
You don't recall? I
No.
figured that would trigger the memory.
The Summit exit. Something happened to my bike.
While driving on I-75, getting onto the Summit, right around the Summit. exit.
Okay, so that was not in a truck. That was on a trailer.
Okay. Yeah.
If it's the same story,
Probably
it
is.
came off the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, dude.
Michael's like, you got to bring this up. He gave him so much shit for this.
Yeah. So a part of the amusement was his dad being with us a lot of the time. So, and I had this like shitty lawnmower trailer that we would use, and so his dad would haul us around, and we strapped the bikes down, and there was like, I don't remember, we stopped there to get some dinner or what we were doing, but that entrance ramp's like a clover leaf. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a super bike turn. And
Super bike.
dude, I mean,
I
you
know,
what I'm talking
I know
about.
the
Yeah.
exit. Yeah, it's down at
So
McDonough.
we're getting on, and if you've ever tied anything down to like one of these lawnmower trailers, everything's like loose. Well,
you almost have to strap the shit out of it so much.
Yeah.
just so it
And there's
won't
nowhere to
go
actually
off.
tie down, so you're like looping stuff around. So we get onto the exit, and I'm in the back seat or something, and I hear Michael's dad say something. Well, there it goes. And I'm like, what? Like, what is he talking about? And then you hear ting, 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 and you like look back and you see straps like hitting the ground because we're still moving. And then Michael turns out, oh my God, a bike fell off. So I look back, it's my bike laying in the middle of the interstate at this point. So they pull over and me and Michael run. We're probably like 1 or 2 lanes into the interstate at this point because we're already on the interstate. We're moving. And thankfully there were no cars like trying to hit the bike. They were going around it.
Yeah.
So we run out there, pick the bike up, go to push it off the road, and the tie strap's stuck in the wheel as we're sitting in the middle of the interstate. So we're over here like dicking around with this thing trying to get it out.
Semi trucks are probably like,
Oh, dude. I
like,
remember I was a nervous wreck. And
nobody thought to just pick up the wheel and just like,
we
you
were
get the
like
bars, you grab
15,
the
16
wheel.
years old at this time. There was nothing logical going through our mind. But yeah, so that happened, and then get back to the side. There were so many terrible things that happened with that trailer with shit falling off of it. There was one, and it may have been the same day. Before that happened, we loaded the trailer down, and we were going down Michael's driveway. Was like a long dirt road, and I don't even think we made it 100 yards down the driveway. And one of the bikes fell off the side of the trailer before we even got down.
it was already.
Yeah. So Michael's dad gets out, pissed as hell. He takes the gas can and just like backhands it into the yard, and then he's strapping the bike back down. What else you got?
I mean, that was it for that particular one. But you know what's kind of funny? Because how old are you now?
37.
So we are only like 2 years apart since I'm 39. It's funny how close we are in so many paralleling stories because in 02, had a brand new 02 CR125. I'm on my way to my girlfriend's house at the time, which her and I are actually still like best friends.
I'm telling your wife.
She slept at our house and she's cool with my wife. Yeah. Not jealous.
Yeah. That's cool.
We haven't like slept together.
I
That
mean,
would be
I wasn't digging.
But no, so first brand new bike, first ride back from my first ACL injury. Been off the bike like 7 months. I'm itching. We're going to Croom. I got my buddy's blaster, same trailer utility setup, right? And the blaster was too far, like taking up so much room that the strap angle on my bike wasn't right. And there's this one road. It was actually pretty famous for like motorcycles in Florida, and I can't remember. It's in Lutz kind of area. Actually, Rodney and I were talking about that last show, but just super windy road. And I just hear boom. It held the strap on and drugged the brand new bike.
Yeah.
The bars were completely, and it was stock bars. But it wasn't Rentals.
Yeah.
It was the steel stock bars that were just completely folded. So we went to my buddy's house because I'm like, I'm riding. So we stopped at my buddy's house on the way, backtracked, took bars off of a 88 RM250 blue steel bars that were just pad angled. I had the worst arm hump ever. It was the worst ride experience I'd ever had in my life.
How old were you then?
15.
Oh.
My sister drove my buddies and I in like my dad's borrowed truck and trailer. Like did all this for me.
How far did
kinda
you live?
thing.
Was that Croom?
Yeah,
How
Croom.
far did
I
you
was
live from there?
30 minutes from there. Yeah.
That was a cool place.
Dude, Croom was a blast.
I went there obviously later in life. I didn't go to Florida until I rode Waldo for the first time when I was like 2006. That was like the first time.
Amazing. Yeah.
Still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See that bottle right there?
Bottle?
Yeah. The
yeah.
liquor bottle
Yeah.
has a little sticker, Croom, Spider, Waldo, North Florida.
okay.
So
Yeah.
that was like a dude trip we did, and those were the tracks we stopped and we collected some dirt along the
Oh,
way.
nice. That's
So
cool.
yeah, that was. Is there a year on that? 2020. Yeah. Actually, going back to Croom right after Day in the Dirt. So I just signed up for Day in the Dirt. Thursday, we're
Is it
doing
Dade?
the Alligator Enduro.
Where's that? Is it Dade?
Dade City, yeah.
Dade,
So
okay.
Thursday, and after the Alligator, go to Dade. Stay there Thursday night. My old roommate's going to pick me up Friday. Go to Croom Friday. race day in the dirt Saturday, maybe Croom Sunday, probably too hungover, and then back home.
Oh, that's
so
a lot.
that's the plan. So if you,
Will that be ready?
yeah, that was one of the reasons I actually made the doctor's appointment for on this past Wednesday.
So
I said, I got a race in March. Am I good? He's like, yeah, you'll be
have
fine.
you done the day in the dirt already?
Yeah, one other time.
Nice.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
Ghost rode my bike over the finish line.
Oh, nice.
Wearing a pink tutu.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Got a good video of
that.
that.
That looks like a cool spot. I mean, I've been to Dade City, but I've never been to Day in the Dirt. But it just looks like a riot.
Oh, yeah. It's the
Did
way to go.
J-Law do it last year?
I think so.
He will for sure do it this year.
Oh, so good, right? I've been having some weird internet issues, and I went to go pull a picture, and it didn't pull up. So I'm like freaking out. No, it's good. It's good. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Nobody watches this silly show anyway.
No. There's actually good little people watching. In fact, anybody watching live, you can post comments in here if you got things that you want to
Yeah, does anybody
bring up. And
how can we see if anybody's even talking?
nobody's talking, but there's people
Do we
watching.
got a phone line?
There's a phone line. Anybody can call in anytime, share some stories, talk some shit.
Do we got any comments?
No, that's why I said anybody can comment if they want to bring up any stories or talk any trash.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, they can. I beg someone to call and talk trash.
I already texted Michael and was like, "We're talking shit about you right now."
Oh.
But no calls in.
Dude, Michael's awesome.
What's funny is
I wish him and I still live close. Like,
where does he live now?
he's down near like Macon.
Where I thought you were. No, you're not.
I'm from down that way, but
Yeah, you're in
Thomaston
the
is
middle.
originally, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was born and raised like in Culloden. So where the Triumph facility is now,
Oh, okay.
he was like right down the street from that. I had to pass that to go to his house.
There it goes. Now
I'm
it's
trying to think what else. That's about it. I mean, there's so many more stories of him and I that it's all situational.
All right, so this is the video earlier, Mike, that I did a dad joke. And I couldn't tell my kid what I was doing, right? So I did this video, and then we'll play the video, and then I'll tell you what happened with it.
Are you taking a video of the
Yeah, I'm doing a video so that we can both be seen. So I wanted people to, but Frankie, you're not in this video. I wanted people to know that I got my hair cut just like my kids, and he did my hair for the show tonight. And then just times like this, I always remember who I'm doing the show for. So hey, no, get out of the. No, I'm doing it for me. Go away.
So he did your hair?
Yeah, he actually like styled my hair for the show right now.
Cool.
So, but the funny thing with that is, I just want to do the
I was
funny
going to talk
video.
shit about it, but no, I can't.
You can't now.
No, I can't.
I already talked shit about your hair when you.
But he liked it. Backfired.
And I said to B, go ahead and ask him why he has hair like a woman. You got your man bun.
And it backfired. Yeah, little guy wants it.
Make it like
Yeah.
he was my hair.
So have that effect on little guys like
yeah,
that.
I did that little funny video just to do like I'm doing this for him, but no, I'm doing it for me.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell him I was doing that. So when I walked downstairs, he's like, "Dad, that was not nice what you did." And I'm like having to give him hugs. I'm like, "Buddy, it's just it's like a funny video." He's like, "But it's not funny." And I'm like, "But you don't think it's funny now?"
Does
and
he not get your sense of humor yet?
He does. He 50-50.
Yeah.
He loves fart jokes. But that's honestly a 5-year-old. That's what you kind of expect with him. But
It's like you like fart jokes.
it depends. You know what gets me
On the
is
smell?
like, dog farting videos or something like that, or a dog reacting to a fart. For some reason, that's a funny bone to me.
Yeah.
You know, but no, like most fart jokes, I don't care too much about. But you had text me this one about Michael is about like fun in the early days, like he and Matt Walker at the local practice tracks on the YOT bikes. I felt like there was a memory or something kind of embedded with one of those things.
So there was, I don't remember if Matt had like this Yamaha Troy Dill or if he was riding a bike or what, but at High Falls, me and Michael went there every Wednesday for practice, and Wednesday nights, it was not many people there. It was, they would prep it and do whatever. And I remember for some reason, I don't know why, but this kind of goes back to the whole story of Michael pissing everybody off. But Michael's out there riding, and Matt pulls in, and he's on this Yamaha Troy bike, and he's out there, and there's like a photographer out there taking photos of Matt. Well, every time Matt's like setting up or getting ready to take a photo, like going into a corner, here comes Michael, like stuffing him or doing something. And then before you know it, like within 5 or 10 minutes, they're doing a full-blown moto, getting ready to clean each other out. And it's that's kind of the part of that. I don't really understand why there was photographers out there or whatever, but I don't know if Matt even had a Yamaha Troy ride. But
Well, anytime there's photographers, then shit's of course
Yeah.
gonna go down.
and
you know?
I don't know if Michael and Matt had beef before that or if they even have beef or whatever, but I don't think Michael was doing any favors by making the guy happy. So yeah, that was a funny one. Like I said, it was always so there was another I'm not going to mention that part of the story. It's not even.
Well, I mean, why don't you just like leave out a name, but maybe tell the story? How about my buddy? In fact, because you've got some people that you've been around and got some funny stories with that I want to work out of you, and they'll just be my buddy Bob. So just instead of a name like J Law,
it was just
put Bob.
Well, it was Matt and Michael. It just got to an extent of where it was like it got way blown out of proportion. And now we're all grown and we're all adults. And I'm based off conversations. I think Matt and Michael are cordial. So 'cause Matt obviously has the track in, was it Ichiconi or?
Well, he runs Ichiconi.
Does he still have Silver Dollar?
I was gonna say I think he still runs Silver Dollar, but just limited
So
events.
Ichiconi is obviously his like. Ichiconi is a fucking awesome track.
I love Ichiconi. Yeah.
I haven't ridden there in years, but dude, the last few times I've been there, I don't know if it was before Matt, but still like the track's always been great. And then Matt looks like he's done wonders with it. But I know Michael still rides there and he sees Matt and but I think they're cool now. But yeah, back then it was always Michael pissing people off, and that was one story. And I'm not sure why Matt showed up on a Yamaha Troy bike to that track, other than to get photos because no one was going to be there. But I don't know. So
well, there's tons of Matt Walker stories.
He did actually show up on that. I think it was the same bike to the 4-stroke national at Bremen.
I could see that.
Yeah. They maybe had a Yamaha deal. I don't know.
I think it was at that race actually. Either I came up from Florida.
He did have a Yamaha ride after later on in his career, right?
Mm. Well, I know he had a Cowie ride.
Oh, that was early, yeah.
And then I think he went to YOT.
Those 4-stroke nationals were insane.
Yeah,
like they'd bring out some guys.
Yeah. What was cool about it is it was a lot of fast guys and not like coverage or too crowded of an event. Where you get to see a lot of top. The 1 to I'd say 5, but still the top 10 guys were still really damn good.
Yeah,
where it was cool to see. I mean, what, Kelly Smith or somebody?
I'm sure, yeah. I remember the top dudes at like the 4-stroke national was always
guys that could still place in the top 10 in the real national sometimes. Yeah.
Jace Lewis was always fast. He was there. You had Matt was there. McDade would show up. Mike McDade.
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
Michael, Healy, Clint. I mean, we just keep going. I don't remember from Donnie McGordy. Might have been.
I know the name. Yeah. He's from Florida.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know that name from Florida. Now I think about it.
There was another dude from Alabama, James Ragsdale.
Yeah.
Number 570, I think, on a Cowie.
He's back to riding.
Is he?
Yeah. He was at the Great Escape race.
Okay.
And
same number, 570 and everything.
I think it was like 575, but it was like electrical tape numbers put on.
Okay.
Still pretty damn
What's funny?
fast.
So like I go back to like me being that dude that was always in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt any of these people ever remember me.
Yeah.
Because I was always like the affiliate of like Michael and the fast guys. Yeah, I was just the guy there. But
you were like the how Stewart had like his little clique. You were the clique part of it.
I rode and I went to the races and I raced, but it wasn't in the same class as these guys.
Yeah.
Which that's basically the entire anything motocross related for the most part. I've been like the fly on the wall in a bunch of really cool scenarios with really cool people. And like I said, some of these people probably have no clue who I am.
They're missing out.
They are. Quality fella.
So let's actually, since you get into some of the Supercross and we're talking about some of the other things, so do you want to hit on the Wonder Warthog stuff first, or the MMI, then work into the Wonder Warthog?
Well, so
stuff?
yeah, that's all. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, but
So-
which one?
So
Chicken and the egg kind of thing.
Yeah, so the Wonder Warthog was a intern program through MMI.
Mhm.
So MMI, my buddy Alan, who me and Michael were both friends with, Alan had like quit racing and was like, hey, I'm going to MMI. So Alan moved to Orlando, goes to MMI. He's off the radar for like a year. And then we didn't see him much. I actually went and visited him down there in between like him leaving and coming back. Well, the whole time he's down there, he's like messaging me, dude, you should come down, like be a blast, like you really like it, da da da. So I'd put in some thought of like, this is after, I'm trying to think why, because at this point I'd kind of faced the realism of like, I'm never going to be a pro.
You're not gonna make
Yeah, I'm not
it.
that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Because dude, at one point I'd gotten pretty good, like I got pretty fast, but I was never pro card status.
Yeah.
And the closer I got to like getting the best I'll ever be, I started to realize I'm never going to be that guy. Like it's that much further. So, and I was like 20, 21 years old. So you start realizing like, dude, this stuff's like unachievable, and financing, like the money
you
part
realized
of it.
Before me, it took me to 25 to realize that.
Oh.
So.
Well, so I got hurt pretty bad in 06 or 07, and that's kind of like what stamped it. Was like, all right, dude, like you're done. So I decided to go to my buddy Alan was at MMI. He's like, dude, you should give it a shot. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll give it a shot. So filled out all the application stuff. They were
You gotta
like,
drop this arm a little bit, by the way. You're blocking your face most of the time.
So I do the application and everything. They call me like within a week or so. Hey, we have a spot open in Arizona. Like, do you want to go? I'm like, no, like I want to go to Orlando.
No, fuck.
Yeah. So they had the Arizona one available.
I can imagine that thought process. Somebody from the South. The desert?
Yeah.
No.
And dude, you gotta think, I'm from middle of nowhere, Georgia. So at this point, I'd never really like gone to a big city or anything.
Well, yeah, but you think Orlando, you're at least thinking some beaches, some bikinis, some babes.
A drive
Arizona,
away.
you're thinking like desert.
Desert.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. And so I'm going to Orlando. All right, you'll be like 2 or 3 months before you can go to Orlando. All right, cool. Let me know when it's open. So in the meantime, we get all the paperwork done, go to MMI in Orlando. At that point, my buddy Alan had like, I'm out, quit, and went into the Marines, I think. Marines or Army, either way. And basically just done with MMI. So I went down there to like kind of hang out with him a little bit and like start MMI. And he bailed
on you.
And at this point, I'm already into it.
Yeah.
So moved down there and knew no one. I kind of had like some friends, acquaintances through people that I'd never met. And that's kind of how I ended up finding a roommate and everything. And so I was down there, went to MMI. And then we can dive down into that loophole if you want.
We will touch on that, but
Okay.
I'd rather almost do like the fun, more
Okay,
Wonder
so
Warthog.
the Warthog thing was when we were there, when you get past your like theory classes and you start working into your like electives, because you get to pick like Honda, Yamaha, Harley, whatever.
Yeah.
They would do like random things for like interns. So there was one thing, it was like a AMA Superbike race at Daytona. So you sign up, like if you want to volunteer to go help.
Yeah.
So I signed up for that, and then it was bike week. So I signed up for the Superbike thing, and I signed up for the Wonder Warthog deal. Superbike thing was pretty sick. That was actually the one Daytona. Was it the 200? Is that what they call the Superbike race?
Yeah.
That was the one race they did at night. That was like failure.
Oh, yeah.
People like running into the back of one another.
Yes. All right. So that would have been the year 2 Buell was racing.
Yeah. They had the
and
Buell.
the dude ran basically got drug across the finish line by another guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was
Yes, I remember.
I do remember that. Yeah. So on the Superbike race, we just sat on pit road and we literally just checked tire stickers or something. It was like, I don't know if Dunlop sponsored it. I guess they had to like
Yeah, I
these
think
tires
they had
or
spec tires or
Probably.
something like that.
Yeah.
There's only 2 or 3 you could choose from. A big part of it, they called that NAS bike at that time because like NASCAR got taken over. My remembrance, actually, you can go back to watch Opie's show. We hit on all of this and deep dove into it because he's a well-known road racer. But yeah, they tried doing a lot of things to basically, because there was always 2 to 3 guys that would run away, right? Because the cream rises to the top. They're the fucking baddest of the dudes on the baddest bikes. And they're like, how do we get them closer to make it closer racing like NASCAR? It's like, it doesn't work that way.
So that's when they went to the tire deal?
They tried all kinds of things. And then Harley came in and offered them a bunch of money. My understanding, actually, I don't need to say that shit. There's disclaimers at the beginning of the show. This is all made up, fake bullshit. So
nobody watches this anyway.
Yeah, no. Actually, speaking of that, Justin McDonald said, tell Corey's dads don't let dads wear man buns. So that's something.
Cool.
Yeah,
he's Canadian, so he can keep talking. We can't get into politics, but anyway,
don't start breaking my rules now, okay, bro?
I love politics.
No. Okay, so back to the super bike.
I'm sitting on pit road. We just checked tires. That was the super bike deal. The other intern was Wonder Warthog, and I'd obviously seen the Warthog stuff from watching it just in Supercross, and then
Daniel Blair with the
Daniel
flag
Blair,
hanging
had
on
the flag, the cape, and everything.
Yeah. Cape, yeah,
the
not
cape,
a flag.
Yeah. So they intern, you sign up for it. They just like, hey, out of the 30 people, we're taking 15. Go help the Warthog guys. You set up tent, you set up the whole rig. They probably had 10 riders underneath this thing. And then you help the riders because it's all privateer. Yeah. So you just help you help these guys out. Like, and they'll kind of like, hey man, like we need to go over here to help, this rider or whatever. So I ended up
who'd you get stuck with?
Actually, I didn't get stuck with anybody. It was a privilege. No.
All right, and I shouldn't have worded that. Who did they put you with?
So at the time, I didn't know either one of these guys. So there were 2 guys I actually got to help out both of them, and then one specifically at this race, and then I helped out the other guy several other times. So you remember there was a guy named I don't know if it's James or Jimmy Pavoni.
Oh yeah.
I think he was a Subway Honda guy or something like that at one point.
Him and JT, I think, were teammates at one point.
Yep. So it was him and then Michael Akaiden from Kentucky. They were I guess they were buddies, and I think Jimmy or James was from up that way too. But helped both of those guys out that night, and ended up becoming pretty good friends with Michael, and then helped him. I think in Jacksonville, whenever that maybe the next race or whatever.
Yeah, they were pretty close together.
But that Warthog thing was so funny because you had guys that would sign up for this intern thing and then show up and then know nothing about motorcycles or racing, let alone helping these guys out.
Yeah.
So it was you show up to help, and these guys don't know what's going on because I at least had a racing background, so I knew kind of
or at least how to
this stuff.
Check tire pressure or what
tire
it
pressures.
Might be.
I think
not 40.
No. Michael's. I mean, Michael's bike. I mean, we changed clutches, and I mean, it was the routine race stuff. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy. I mean, his race bikes were pretty sweet anyway. So that was the first actual mechanic thing that I got to do for someone at a pretty high level, I guess. So that was cool. And then being on the floor, you got your credential, you got your pit shirt, and you're like, dude, this is what it's like to be down on the floor. I
mean, hell, almost anybody watching the race would be if given the opportunity to go. I keep hitting this fucking thing. I keep flipping back between the camera angles on accident. But yeah, if they're given the opportunity to go to the floor for whatever reason, they're gonna do it and just be like.
It was cool.
I mean, hell, even racing the amateur days with nobody in the stands was still kind of
Oh, Daytona?
No, I did Atlanta twice and Tampa.
Oh.
Actually, that's the first time I think I raced Michael and got to see how fast he was.
And they did it at
Supercross,
one of the last dome races, right? They did it was before Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, that was the first one they did. Then the next year, then COVID shut all that down. So
so that was helping out doing that. The Wonder Warthog thing was cool. It was a cool idea. Like I said, they just sent a bunch of people there that, for the most part, didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So they were basically just standing around doing nothing. And then, hey, help tear this tent down. Help, get the food ready, whatever. And then
More of a gopher than a helper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
were actually able to help.
Yeah, I got to help, which that was cool. That was my first taste of like, this is what I want to do. Like going into MMI, I never wanted to be what I didn't know this until after I started, but
yeah, let's dive into that part.
So MMI, when I guess how it was portrayed to me was, I'm a motocross guy, motocross background. This is what I don't do for a living. I'm not going to be able to race for a living like I thought I was going to be able to. I'm not going to be the next Jeremy, which I wanted to be. And I was like, the next best thing is like, dude, I could work for a team, be a mechanic. Like I worked on bikes my whole life since I've, was racing. I had to do it myself. Which that was another story from Michael, is like, dude, I was so far off from what like actually understanding maintenance of a motorcycle until meeting up with him and him helping me out, and him and his dad both. So then got this image of like going to MMI. I'm going to be the, a mechanic, work for race teams, be hands-on, go to all the supercrosses, all the motocrosses, sign up for this thing, start, and you obviously go in there, you're in like theory class or whatever for, I don't know, 6 weeks maybe. I don't know what how many weeks it was, but you're in theory class and you got, dude, there's probably 60 to 80 people in this class. I mean, there's just so many people in this room. And they basically start laying down the law. Like, all right, guys, so this is what we're going to learn. This is, the next however many years you want to stay here. Because it was broken up. You could do your theory classes, and then after you finish like your main classes, you go into your electives, like Honda, Cowie, whatever. So you could stay damn near as long as you wanted to. But to like qualify with credentials, you had to like finish those like Yamaha courses and stuff. But going into that, you show up and you're in this room with like all these people, and they start kind of laying everything out, and you're like, then they start telling you like, hey, you can't miss class. Like we pride people who show up on time and don't miss days. Yeah. So if you show up late, like a tardiness, three tardies is essentially an absence. Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah. They're basically treating it like high school, when honestly, that's kind of one of the great things about college, is it makes you have to, like, you've got to do your own shit,
right?
And it kind of makes people either make it or break it from, are you an adult or not?
Right.
But honestly, like, threaten them the other way, I feel like just pushes people over a lot of times.
Well, and it was that, and then two absences, excused or not. I mean, there were no excuses. So, 2 absences, you're basically terminated from that class, and you got to start over the next, whatever it was. Yeah.
Holy shit.
So,
and also, before we go too far down this road, I will say, I sent you the link and told you to skip to 12:20. It was actually right at 13 minutes. Go watch Frank Victorine's episode. It's not in our live. You got to actually go to the videos, because I had to take it down and bleep some shit out because he was saying some names where I was like, oh, I might get sued. I might still get sued for the MMI thing, but dude, he was dropping some truths, because he was an instructor at MMI, and the feelings that I had I asked him about, and he confirmed essentially.
Yeah.
So you were kind of able to confirm this stuff too.
His show was like nail on the head. I mean, he was in Arizona though. It seemed like, did he ever go to Orlando at all? It seemed like he was always in Arizona.
Maybe to test some stuff, but I think primarily he was there for the most part. But
and I'm still friends with some guys from MMI, and we all have the same like stories. And but basically, so the MMI thing led to that, and then it's like a real life Squid Games or whatever. It's like you start with all these people, and then every 2 or 3 weeks, like you start realizing people aren't showing up anymore.
Yeah.
And it just like the class starts shrinking, and then you'll see people show up and they're like 2 or 3 classes behind you, where, they got their too many absences and they flunked out. So they got to redo the class that y'all just did. And it just got to a point where after theory was over and we start getting into like working on, you had all these different classes. So you had like tire changing class, you had engine class.
Are
had
you sure
chassis-
they made people go through tire changing class? Because that's what I said on Frank's show. There's so many
100% did.
people we would interview. My final step would be change a tire, and they couldn't do it. And they just spent 40 grand on a fucking education.
Oh, dude.
And they can't change a tire.
There was like a 6
like,
week, I think it was 6 week class. I
what?
think each stop, like each class was like 6 weeks or something like that. And there was however many weeks of just tire changing, lacing and truing a spoke wheel, balancing like a motorcycle wheel, like a mag wheel or whatever. And that's basically one whole part of the class was that. So yeah. So you get into that stuff, and then I'm starting to realize after like, I don't know, 2 months of being in the school, I'm like, this ain't what I signed up for. Like,
yeah.
I was watching this commercial where I'm going to be Jeremy Albright, and I'm like going to be changing the King's like clutches and stuff. This ain't it.
Yeah.
So it got to a point to where we're doing all this extra stuff. Like each morning you go into class, you have to push all these bikes out into the yard.
Yeah.
So, because you can't just keep the bikes out there. We're in Orlando. Like
Yeah.
the bikes in the parking lot are going to get stolen.
It's honestly a lot like working at a dealership. Every morning you got to push the bikes out.
yeah.
Every day you got to push them back in. Yeah.
So we would do that. And then it got to a point where I'm like, dude, I'm not pushing the CB750. I'm not pushing the quad. I'm not pushing the Gixxer 1000. If it doesn't have
Oh, no.
what?
You say Gixxer?
Gixxer. Yeah. GSXR.
Yeah. The GSXR. It's not a Gixxer.
Okay. The
Okay.
Gixxer. I could say Gixstar. Gixstar.
It's better.
But yeah, so if it wasn't a motocross bike, I wasn't touching it. And I made that pretty like clear the further along I got. And so I just push out. I mean, even we had trail bikes we work on and stuff, but I'd push all the dirt bikes out. And that was just what I would do. And then it got into like the classes. Moving forward, I don't care if we had to tear down a bunch of street bikes and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to do the street bikes. I will never work on a street bike in my life. So of course I had to do some of this stuff to like pass. So I did it.
Yeah.
But it just gets to a point of where I start to realize this school is set up to teach people how to work in a motorcycle dealership specifically. There's no going in the supercross or motocross world like they advertise.
Yeah, they advertised on Supercross to entice people to come in, but I will say their wording is like, you'll learn to do this, but you could be this.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And I think maybe I misinterpreted it. I don't know. Either way, I wasn't
You
thrilled.
drank the Kool-Aid.
I drank the Kool-Aid. And let's put it this way, there were so many, and this kind of leads up to the Wonder Warthog thing. There were so many guys in this school that were intelligent people, like all walks of life, book smart. They knew everything, top to bottom. They were best top of the class. But you put them in a real life situation like the Wonder
can't do
Warthog
it.
thing,
Yeah.
they have no clue what's going on.
Yep.
And I would say some of the top guys that we went to school with and graduated with, I don't even know if they went on and got jobs in the
Well, that's the
industry.
thing that Frank kind of touched on is they had this placement rating that was so high and all this stuff. But yeah, they would basically, MMI would really do a good job of calling dealerships or pushing like, let's get this person in a shop so they can say they went to work at a dealership.
Yeah.
They would last 2 months.
But so long as they went there,
yeah,
they could get the credit for
yeah,
it.
once it was dug into, it was like, ooh, they're not really doing it for that. And there's something else I was going to touch on that you just said and just kind of dropped it, but it was going to be something along the lines of okay, this might seem a little, I don't think it'll come off too snobby, but to me, MMI is almost the thing where somebody to go who never had a dad who knew how to work on bikes to teach them, or a friend to teach them to learn and go, because you would be better off to have your knowledge that you had and started as a shop as a porter and learn from a guy like Billy Eisenacher or something like that you could spend time with and pick up knowledge and learn as you go.
Yeah.
Would be like in those 4 years or 2 years, you would learn a lot more than you would in there if you had the basis.
Right.
I think it would be much better schooling for somebody to get the basics that's never touched a wrench.
Yeah.
And then
like your overall
go into it.
Theory of a motorcycle is go to this school.
But not for 40 grand.
Yeah, I think I was in the whole, so I did Honda 24. So And that Honda and Harley were the only electives that you could go and do 2 of the same. Like it was a additional like 12 and 24.
Mm-hmm.
Yamaha, Suzuki, Cowie were all like just singular 12-week classes. But yeah, so I did the Honda 24, but like I said, the further along I got, I realized it was just you're basically tuning me in how to work at a dealership.
Yeah.
And even then I probably knew, I ain't gonna say I knew more than when I went in there, because I did learn some pretty cool stuff.
You're always going to pick up on something where you're like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
And honestly, those kind of aha moments is what sticks with you the most, where you could probably pull some up right now. Like, oh, yeah, I remember this, where I was like,
Well,
oh, that's neat.
specifically the engine and honing class.
Yeah.
I remember the instructor, Frank, I'm pretty sure it was Frank Wigfall. And he was this older black guy, and dude was like a little wizard. And so he would teach us like how to, hone cylinders, bore them, how to use presses, and do if you've ever seen anybody, first off, you can go 2 ways with this. The hone, like what was this, like the scraper, not the actual like ball hone.
Oh God.
The blades are basically loose.
Yeah,
and when you pull it out,
3 of them in a row. It's
and if you have that
it's
thing
a honer.
whipping, and you pull it out of the cylinder, those things are like a grenade. They can fly. And dude, they had these big like stainless like tubs that you would go, and that's where you'd put your lubricant in it, and you're honing your cylinder. And people and they're like pulling this thing out, and it's like a grenade went off, and it sounds like a bomb when those blades hit the inside of the metal sink. And you see that stuff happen all the time. You're like watching your back, like, oh, there's this idiot's at the hone again. And then the other part of that class was pressing. Like you got this like 3-ton press, and you're pressing like bearings and stuff, or you're just pressing stuff into a case or pressing stuff out.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd press into one.
Well, you're pressing stuff out, and if they don't have the stuff lined up just right,
oh yeah,
it's just like, it was comedy, dude. It was pure comedy. But that was a cool class.
So there's those guys too that that are probably gonna fuck up.
Oh,
It's like the C class, right? Where everybody's at the line. It's like, this dude's gonna eat shit.
Well, there were so many classes that I was there, and one of my good buddies, Jeremy, him and I was still friends to this day. He's in my wedding and everything. But him and I, dude, we would pick on people. Not pick on them, but we would take, like, let's just say if you had a 4-stroke apart, I'd take your valve springs when you go to the bathroom and just hide them. And then go to put your motor back together. And you don't know this motor, so you don't even know the valve springs are supposed to be in it.
Yeah.
So you're trying to put everything back together. You're like, well, the keepers won't stay inside of here. What the like? And so just little stuff like that. Taking the keys to motorcycles so people can't unlock their ignition, so their wheels still lock sideways. Can't push the bike out. There's always stuff like that too. But yeah, I mean, we're getting off on a tangent here, but yeah, the school to me was just like, there's such a waste of $30,000 other than a social experiment. Like, I paid $30,000 to make some really cool connections and have some really cool friends, and then to get some paper from Honda saying that I graduated from MI and I'm a certified technician. So I mean, as soon as I left MI, I went right back to, motocross stuff, and that's where I stayed. But I learned more in the field, and I'll tell anybody this. If you want to learn motorcycles, or if you want to learn to be a mechanic, or even a race mechanic, because I hear, other podcasts where guys are like, hey man, what's it take to be in the industry?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to make any money. Like,
No.
I don't care what level of a mechanic you are, unless you got Roxon or somebody like that, and you're just making like bonus money like crazy. Even now, like, you're not making a lot of money.
No, you're making below minimum wage for the hours you're working. Yeah.
I mean, dude, you're working around the clock. You're basically on call 24/7.
Yeah.
And you have no life, but it's a cool industry.
It's not too different from being married.
Yeah. I mean,
you're somebody's bitch.
Yeah. You do what
spending a lot of your money.
they say do, and you do it.
So after your time there, did you go right into Roost, or was it?
Oh no, Roost was.
Oh, because I've
later
got
on.
somebody on the phone right now who used to be a Roost buddy of yours. Say, what's up?
Yeah, I'm calling to see if you have graphics for a 1992 XR80.
Let me. Can you hear? I'm clicking my mouse.
I thought that sounded more like a. Oh, that's a different. That's a different. Sorry. Okay, my bad. Mix up.
Lindsay,
Yeah, it's Lindsay.
what are you doing?
I've been texting her and being like, "Hey, like we're gonna call. Fuck with Corey a little
What are
bit."
you doing?
Hey, that looks like a mini rush board.
It was.
Let's see. Lindsay also texted me a few pictures that I brought in here.
Me and Lindsay had a fun time at Roost.
Yeah, and honestly, I was trying to remember. Did I meet you through her at Roost or from Motions?
Oh, so I worked at that's Lindsay actually is, I guess, part of the reason why I even moved here. Because I was doing mechanic stuff and I like kind of wanted to get out of the industry. And I had a buddy that moved to Marietta, and I already knew Lindsay from way back in the day. And then she worked at, it was Mountain though, wasn't it? It wasn't Motions.
I couldn't remember if it was
No, I
Mountain
think-
or Motions at the
I
time.
think it was Motions.
And then Mountain bought Motions. I remember it was the Motions building. When I started, it was the Motions building, but Mountain had bought it.
And I was just talking with Billy about this the other day, about how it was April Fool's that they announced it. And we were all like, there's no way that Don sold
When is
Motions.
Memorial Day? What month? May?
I think so.
Yeah, I think
May.
so.
Yeah, so I moved here in Memorial Day weekends when I moved here, and I interviewed with Rolando and the parts guy. But Lindsay segued that whole thing. I was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about moving to Atlanta. Like, you know anybody hiring?" And she's like, "Yeah, we'd probably hire somebody in the parts department. Like, I work there." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And then
Okay, so it was Motions. I couldn't remember
no, it
exactly.
was when I moved here. It was Mountain Motorsports.
Okay.
Because Ryan Hardwick and
Dustin.
they had owned it at this
You know
point.
what's funny about the wrist thing too?
What?
Dustin's son was blocking people from jumping on me after I
Oh,
crashed.
yeah.
Yeah. So I went up
Nice
and talked
guy.
with Dustin and his kid. And
Oh,
thanked him.
nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that but it was an official Mountain Motorsports when I moved here, but it was the old Motions building.
no way. I don't know if I can join
Yeah,
this call,
they-
but Chris
it was-
Finnegan's
it was-
calling right now.
Oh,
I don't know how to do it. Chris, we will call you back, buddy. I didn't know this would actually call to that thing like that. I'm gonna
Yeah,
call
Chris-
Chris
It was
back.
the Motions building. Mountain owned it until the Marietta location was built.
then how come I had a Mountain Motorsports?
We wore
Yeah.
Mountain Motorsports
You-
clothes
shirts.
in the Motions building.
So
Got
you
you.
came
Okay.
in like a month after they
Yeah, it
they
was
sold out.
that
then.
small corner building.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So what was this? You sent me a few pictures, Lindsay. What? I'm looking at the one right now
Wait,
that
what in the world is this?
Obama made me build this. What the hell is this? Damn it! This is political shit. I didn't want to. I told Corey some of the rules, and I was like, "Look, no religion, no politics." He's like, "All right, I'm gonna wear my cross. I'm gonna start with a prayer. I'm gonna
prayer?
wear a Trump
Trump
shirt."
shirt.
And I was like, "God damn it! Hey, we're canceling."
When was this?
I was
Oh, dude,
I
that's
was
it.
going through my
that's at
old
Roost.
Facebook, and I just found like all these photos of us.
Dude, I remember this guy. The guy would always come in. He was kind of a kook, but he would always come in and
Yeah.
get political stuff, like signs and stuff. I do remember that now. That's at Roost.
Yep.
There's old.
And then he built a billboard on his truck, and that's how he drove around.
Oh my god!
All right,
I do remember
Now
this
we're on
too.
to the next picture. It looks
Dude.
like you guys are cleaning out the shitter
Yeah.
on the Roost RV.
So I don't remember what race we went to, but Chris and
We went
Christina.
to Mill Creek.
Mill Creek, yeah. So Chris and Christina, I guess they started to trust us a little bit. So they were like, "Hey guys, y'all want to start going to races and like taking the camper and like setting up stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down to do that. Like whatever." So we go. Obviously, we're using the bathroom and stuff. We go to the truck stop, and I'm like, "I'm not draining the shitter." And Lindsay's like, "Well," I'm like, "You're draining the shitter." So there's Lindsay draining the
She
shitter.
probably blew it up worse than any of you guys.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
know?
I'm sure she did.
I had no idea what I was doing. Corey's like sitting in the back of the RV telling me exactly what to do.
You see my hands on
If
my
he,
hip?
like sitting, like, because I know I do this every time I drain the shit on my RV. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's got this like
was he just standing back there, Lindsay, gagging as you're doing the work?
Yeah.
I can see that you've got freaking gloves on your hand.
Yeah, I wasn't touching that.
Let's zoom in on the gloves. Yeah.
and it probably had not been cleaned since before we even used it.
Yeah, that nobody had really even used that RV for so long, and then we started like taking it to races, and yeah.
Who else was it? Just you and I? I feel like there had to have been somebody.
I think Finn was with us too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, dude, that was a fun little. I don't remember how long I worked there, but Lindsay basically came in and took my spot, and I got the Bosch.
Hey,
Did you get canned?
remember when we randomly decided on a Friday to drive up to Steel Creek for the National?
Oh God.
Oh, Steel City.
Oh yes.
Yeah, not Steel Creek. What are you talking about, weirdo?
Yeah, that was fun.
Steel City. That was a good
Yeah.
trip.
You know what I remember from that, Lindsay? Is you coming back telling me how you walked out of your room and Brock Hepler turned out of his room and you guys like faced each other. And you were, I think the joke that you said to us was like, and I was just like, oh my God, do me. But we all knew you were just being a smart ass when you said that. But yeah, do you remember that part of it, or was that a different race?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I just remember you saying it was Brock Hepler walked out, and you guys were staying at the same room. I think it was that Steel City race. So what is this one picture though? The Roost shirts with the behind the bus.
That was also Mill Creek. I think that was the same trip.
Mill Creek or Steel City?
No, that would have been
Mill Creek.
Can't tell.
Look like Mill.
No, that's got to be Mill Creek.
Maybe.
No, I don't know. That's
It might
too much
have been
grass for Mill
Tony.
Creek.
It's too much grass.
Yeah,
for
Mill
any
Creek never
track.
had grass.
I don't know.
But yeah, you got some good roadie stories
Oh,
or any
dude,
other?
you know what track that is? That's the track Ben Hamilton rode there. Whatever track that was. Ben Hamilton came out there.
You're not talking about the one that was like the rattlesnake racing track. What was that dude's name? It was like a rich dad and his kid, and he'd basically buy you a bike if you could keep his kid in check at the races.
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, Lindsay?
Rattlesnake.
What is that?
Oh, was it RRMD?
Yeah,
Rattlesnake.
that's Rattlesnake
that was
Racing
John-
Marketing Department.
We should get John Dean on the horn. He was part of the RRMD
Ed
group.
Turner.
I honestly have no clue what track that was.
I don't. Hold on. I'm looking back. I might have.
Is there a geo
Commented what it
tracking or
Oh yeah, where it
coordinates
shows
on
you.
that
That's way
picture?
before then. I don't remember having a trailer though. And we had a trailer. We're whipping around in that thing.
I think we brought bikes, but we didn't do anything with them.
Makes sense.
Well, there was one oh no, it was
Right.
I didn't save it, but there was one I saw where you were basically given like while driving the Roost rig. I saw that on your Facebook, but I never saved it.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't save that one.
good.
Yeah, I don't know what track that was.
Oh, there's a Steel City picture.
Where?
Yep, right there. I don't know who's in it though. Oh, that's me and Finn.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that Finn?
Yeah.
Our next car we'll take.
Yeah, that was before. That was little did we know, which I didn't know then. That was going to be the last Steel City race.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the last one.
Yeah, they decided
That
like it
was
didn't
the
make
last
sense to
one.
have two races in Pennsylvania because
Oh.
they had high points.
Dude, that's such a cool track too.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's
good time.
Joe, my buddy Joe's the guy that won the YZ250. That's his favorite track.
Oh, Steel City.
Yeah.
Especially from a viewer standpoint, dude. You could see like the entire track from like because it was like kind of down in this little like
Valley
gully.
kind
Yeah.
of thing. Bud's Creek is kind of that way. I liked how the viewing was for Bud's.
Yeah, I've never been to Bud's.
Oh, Bud's is
That
fun.
was fun.
Yeah, Lindsay.
Oh, yeah, Lindsay was there with me when we went just last year, year before.
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, because I was
2023.
my knee was blown out last year. I couldn't go.
I can't. Me and Lindsay worked at Mountain together, and we worked at Roost together.
Yeah.
And every day it was always what was that little Chihuahua? That little stuffed animal.
PETA.
PETA. So how do you know where it was? A Taco Bell dog or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And every day, if she came in before me or I came in before her at Mountain, we would dress Pete up in like a different outfit. It was like one day he had on goggles, one day he had on like a helmet.
I remember you guys talking about that. Yeah.
Dude, and how often did we, I mean, Rolando, I'm surprised we didn't have him like, dude, he was pissed every day.
Oh, every day.
I think I got fired by Rolando at least 4 times before I actually left.
Yeah.
Like he had enough of my shit every day.
I think he had enough of all of our shit every day.
Yeah. Kristen, I remember Lindsay and Kristen telling me the same thing about like how
pissed off.
he would get and fire people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, hell, my wife worked with him too. Like when she first got in the motorcycle industry.
Who else worked there? Oh,
Kristen.
Tito.
Tito
Was there.
Tito.
Yeah, I think it was the 4 of you.
Worked.
No, I think at that one,
who else did
at
you
that
say?
time frame though, it was Kristen, Tito, Lindsay,
Kristen?
and you, Kristen Mullaney. Or she had just
Oh,
left.
dude, I forgot all about her. No, that was before. She wasn't there when I was there. Kristen, I remember Kristen from racing. Did she ride?
Yeah, she raced.
From Bremen,
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, she raced at Bremen a lot.
Yeah.
Bremen.
Her and Robbie were dating. They were like the high school couple.
Had the weird
Kristen
last
was
name,
working,
that guy.
Would not check.
Yeah.
Our kids now ride electric KTMs together.
Oh. I remember he was he had like some pretty badass Hondas or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember
he
those.
always had badass built bikes.
Like that name, for example.
Yeah.
That guy probably has no clue who I am, but I remember badass Hondas, weird
Yep.
last name. Like Kristen, I remember Kristen was
She was
friends,
working at Hooters at the time then.
I see, I don't know any
at
of
the
that. I
time
just
where
remember
you
her
were there.
being at seeing her at Bremen and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Lindsay was like one of my first real like motocross friends. Because I remember, how did you and I even become friends?
MySpace.
Had to be.
Instant Messenger.
Had to have been MySpace, yeah. And then MySpace, and I met you at Bremen for the first time.
Yep.
Yeah. At Bremen.
And then you
What's
moved
funny
up
is
here.
I became friends with Josh because of Lindsay, and Josh becoming buddies. He made friends with her when he moved down from Michigan. So it's all the circle of Lindsay.
Yeah, 'cause I probably met Josh through Lindsay too. And the same with John Dean
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's
And
funny?
now me and Anthony work together.
No, hey, that's
We
one of the
also
rules.
live
We don't say
together.
the name of where we work, okay?
She didn't say where.
I know, but we don't talk about that. Like Fight Club. First rule, we don't talk about it. But it is kind of funny. The first time I actually hung out with Lindsay, I want to say it was at Chili's, and I went, my now wife, we were not dating. We were just friends at the time. Maybe it was Ruby Tuesdays in Hiram.
I think it was Ruby Tuesday.
And I remember Megan being there. Maybe B. Lee was there, or he left to go pick up a chick, or maybe Scotty. But I remember there was 3 of us, and you actually came because we were like, she's not going to actually show up because you were known to say that you were going to do something and then not show. So that was Lindsay.
Katie said she doesn't know how to
I'm
comment.
still like
She's
that.
trying to comment.
What is she? Did you marry an
Brother,
80-year-old?
She doesn't know the difference between a Instagram live, Instagram feed, Instagram post.
You know she can hear this, right?
Hang on, let me get caught up real quick. Is this wrong to be on my phone right now?
No, that's fine.
Brantley text me.
You got any good any other stories to bring up, Lindsay? Because we got a few other people that called in that I think want to say a few words.
Oh, dude.
No, I mean, there's more stories, but we'll leave those till we're older.
Write them down and think about it. We'll maybe bring it up on another call. Or actually, Corey remembers some. I'll just bring them up for your show.
Yeah, I mean,
when I get
like I said, I've known Lindsay since we had been like 14 or 15 years old. I remember the first time we met.
Yeah.
My mom drove me to Bremen, and
Mama Karen would have drove Lindsay too, and it's probably been on an RM85.
Lindsay's mom, like she was always whenever. I guess before you could drive, she was always there.
Yep.
See, your mom probably has no clue who I am, but I do remember her.
Her mom's got a pretty damn good memory, so
She does. So she remembers when I owe her like $100 back in 2004 when she paid for something.
she probably remembers if I owe her $100.
Lindsay, Taylor Dressler worked with us.
Oh yeah,
at Mountain.
Yes.
Yep.
We got a funny Dean Wilson story in Taylor. We won't talk about. Actually, no, we will talk
Yeah.
about it. Dude, I randomly thought about this today for some reason. So we're all hanging out at like the DMXS parties, and Taylor gets Dean Wilson's number. You remember this, Lindsay?
Yeah, no,
And
it was a Parts Unlimited dinner before.
That's right. And she's trying to get him to go to the DMXS party. And he's texting her, are any hot girls there? And she's getting upset because she's like, me. And then I guess she like texted him so much that he told her like lose my number or something like that, right? Isn't that how the story went?
No, do you remember him taking John's ID because he was too young to get in the car?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna talk on that one, but yeah, we hooked up Dean Wilson with a fake ID at Parts Unlimited dinner because I looked at John and I was like, holy shit, you guys look alike. And then Dean
John
was
and
like,
Dean?
John, not Dean, John Dean. John Cunningham.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Remember. But yeah, we hooked him up. And he straight up said, he's like, I don't care about drinking. I don't drink. I just want to go out to the clubs in Vegas after the race, you know? So I actually ran into him 2 years later. It was when the whole 2-2 thing, he was almost going to be racing for 2-2.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And I actually saw him in the pits after Supercross, and I was like, Dean, do you remember we gave you that? He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, man, I had it for like a year and a half, and it got taken from me. It's talking about Mama Karen. So I took her to dinner shortly after Lindsay and I started working together.
That almost doesn't even look like you.
Pictures in the work chats. Lindsay about fucking,
That's you on the right?
Yeah.
Dude, that looks nothing like you.
Because I have long hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened?
My wife said I don't look good with long hair, and she made me cut it.
She didn't do you a favor.
I'm ugly either way, so I don't really care. No, but that was pretty funny. Lindsay was like, "What the?"
Yeah, that was real funny.
I can't believe Lindsay called in. This is like this is the one time a year her and I will talk is right now.
Yeah, actually, Corey was talking about you before the show, and he even said, he's like, yeah, we talk like once a year, just randomly.
So I told him that I didn't really like the fact that, first off, he had you on the show before he had me, and second off, he didn't plan it to where I could be there for this call.
Oh, yeah, you should.
For the show.
I told her to leave work Wednesday. She's 4 hours away, 5 hours, drive here after work. She could work out of this office for a day and then do the show.
I don't know if you know this, but it's supposed to snow in the South, and I've been there, done that, and I'm not driving to Atlanta.
Were you working at Roost for Snow Apocalypse?
No, I
Lindsay was.
I was not. I was gone at that time. I got stuck in leaving.
Did you leave before the fire, Corey? I can't remember.
No, Lindsay, I did not. The joke. I got fired before the fire, and then you said, "It's either you." I thought you're the one that said, "Hey, did you burn down Roost?"
I think it was Lindsay. So who was it that called you, Lindsay, and was like, "Oh, I'm just in the parking lot across from Roost watching it burn down." You're like, "My fucking truck's there," and like we had to go bring your spare keys to get your truck. It was parked next to the building.
Because I was.
You were at a national with Mackenzie.
I was?
No, Lindsay was.
That's another girl I forgot about.
I was.
Mackenzie.
I asked her if she knew you. I texted her and she couldn't remember you.
I figured.
I sent her a picture and she was like,
Mackenzie Trigger?
No. Yeah.
Dude, I played video games with her for the longest time.
Fucking Australians, damn.
And and then through Roost too. Like she was was here, in America for the longest. Where's she at now?
She lives in South Carolina. She's not far from me. She's over in Australia right now, but she's not far from me.
No, it was I may be getting her confused with Amanda Mayhew was here for a while too, wasn't she?
No, it was Courtney Duncan.
No.
Was she the short brunette, real skinny chick that was pretty fast?
Who
Lindsay is saying.
Oh.
Duncan?
No, Courtney Duncan was from New Zealand.
Oh, I'm thinking of a different one that came after, like Mackenzie or whoever.
Yeah, I have a old PlayStation where it might have been Mackenzie's. Does Mackenzie got a brother?
Maybe.
James, yeah.
Yeah, we would play like Reflex together at night. And it was me, her, and a buddy of mine, Jeremy. Some reason I vaguely it's either her or Amanda. I used to have to take them to the gym after I worked at Roost because they were here to train for racing, and then I would go to the LA Fitness after work. And it was one of those. It was either Mackenzie or Amanda I would take to the gym with me. I just don't remember.
Actually, you know what? She did
Hey.
message either right during the show or right after. And I think she said that she did remember you.
Hey, let's touch on the mad skills thing really quick because I was definitely a part of that.
Yeah, so I had the picture, and Corey's like, "Where the fuck do you have Mad Skills picture right here?" Yeah, I just saw this on your Facebook and remembered like how epic we would freaking race each other and do all kinds of stuff like in the beginning Mad Skills days when you could race each other. It was so fun.
That was every day. That was sitting.
I finally deleted it. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm wasting
And the
at
new
least
track
6
would drop.
hours a day doing this shit.
They'd have a new track drop like on a Thursday, and it was like the minute, and it had like a countdown timer thing. And the minute that it dropped, you just sit there. And
Everybody
just
went into the
Yeah.
bathroom.
Yeah. That might be my lowest ranking ever. Was 65. If that's me, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was from yours.
But there would be some pretty big names on there, like pro dudes, like
Yeah.
pro racers would be on there.
And there was that one dude that would win Master
Yeah.
52.
Yeah, Master
would
52.
win
That's hilarious.
everything for
Master
years.
52, that's
Nobody
hilarious.
could touch that motherfucker for years.
Yeah,
And they dropped like a new one, or he got laid finally, or something
Yeah.
happened where he
Master
just, yeah,
52.
stopped playing as much.
Yeah, he'd be the first at the top. There were a
Every
couple other
time.
names too. Master 52 was the guy.
Yeah.
Somebody else just said they tried to call in, but it's going straight to voicemail.
Well, I sent one other. It's
Hey,
like,
I'll say one more thing. Corey, remember when you would create the mad skills tracks with the towels on your bed?
oh, I'm
yeah.
bringing that up in just a minute. I got the video to drop.
Oh,
Yeah. When
What, did I-
you
is
gotta
there a
go-
video?
then.
Yeah, I've got a video.
Where in the world did you get a video?
Dude, look, I don't know what you think part of show and podcast you're on, but I'm a professional, sir.
Oh,
I do my research, I check things. You know, I know what I'm
this
doing.
is pretty good. This is
All
funny.
right. All right, Lindsay, we'll let you go. Thanks for calling in, bud.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right.
See ya.
See you. All right, so there was an 865 number that called. Is that who tried
Let me
calling?
try. Let me see.
Because I was going to call back Finn. Why doesn't it show me who called?
86.
I have no call.
Yeah, 865 679.
Oh, no.
What?
That's weird. It says no call activity on that. But it did go through my phone, so, because the app's on my phone too, so I could probably get it that way. Who was it? Because I didn't know who the 865 number is.
Some fan. I don't know. You know, I got so many.
All right. See if I can. Yeah, okay. I'm going to call them now.
Can't get away from them, dude. It's
God damn, I don't like this dial tone thing.
Can they hear that?
Yeah. If they can hear, if we can hear it,
Sounds
they
like we're
can
about
hear
to
it.
prank call
I
somebody.
know. That's weird. I don't like how that's making that. That's not Sizemore, is it?
Mm-mm.
Yo,
Who is this?
Yo,
what are y'all doing?
what are you doing?
I was watching this guy on this podcast.
I like how I think it's funny because Anthony has no clue. Who
Yeah,
this
I
is.
don't know. But I need to know so I can give you entries if, for the bike giveaway that I'm going to do.
You're
at the
doing
end of the
another
year.
bike giveaway?
Yeah, I'm going to do one every
Oh, you're doing
year.
a bike giveaway?
I'm a
Dude,
plan to,
This,
yeah.
this guy just gave away a McGrath. Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
A McGrath replica YZ250.
I want to encourage people to call in and share motorcycle stories and leave voicemail and let me play videos and I give entries. I
No
want.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here I am. You know me. I'll take anything free.
Yeah, I was just trying to call and embarrass you in some way. I didn't know. Something to be gained from this.
Well, I mean, I would if there wasn't a delay. I was gonna all right. Tell me when to stop. How big is it? If you want to embarrass him, but
Can he even see?
it's gonna be delayed like 40 seconds
got-
if he's gonna see it. So it won't work.
I've got it paused now, so I'm just talking to you guys.
Who is this?
ZV.
And my name is Zach Vaughn. I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee.
I've never met you, man.
Number 111. ZV11. 1111.
How do you two know each other? Just from racing, or wasn't sure if it was wrenching or any of your other
I would
50
think
lives you've had.
I think we first
iRacing.
met through Freeman.
Yeah. You know,
What did you say?
you know Alex Freeman?
Mm-mm.
He was he raced pro class?
Yeah, but he didn't.
He was a
You
Mill
probably
Creek.
would know
Mill
him from
Creek.
being
We
on that
actually,
Meth
me and
trailer
ZV just
more
had
than
this
anything.
conversation the other day. Freeman would race Mill Creek like every race that they had, and he had a RM252 stroke, and he would race pro class, and there wasn't one race I remember him not getting carted off of that place. Like
Absolute slam.
the gnarliest crashes.
Yeah.
But I
Sounds like a man of my own, you know.
And he was just fast enough to be right in the mix, just to get just pummeled, just get ran over. And but I knew I don't even remember how I met Freeman.
I've definitely met you at Loretta's. I met you at Loretta's, and then you come to Knoxville and hung out a couple times here or there. But truthfully, our friendship really kicked off when we started playing video games together. Listen, dude, we have a whole group. We have like a whole community of people we've played video games with, and we've only met maybe one of them. And this is going on almost 10 years now.
Is this the iRacing stuff that you do?
Part of it, yeah. It all started with, it had to have been Reflex or something, right?
Yeah, the console video, the console racing games, yeah.
But I met ZV through a buddy, Alex. Alex was friends with all the FMF, like Dangler, all the FMF guys. The kid that I wrenched for was FMF rider, so I just, Freeman, knowing him, and then ZV was always hanging out with those guys at Loretta's, and then it was just like, I remember Zach being this little wild, wiry, little skinny dude, and he was just like, always out of control, and I was like, that's cool, dude. Whatever. And then we became friends. Then we became friends. I remember, who was it? It was hammered drunk in that dude's camper one night at Loretta's. Was it you throwing up in the?
My buddy Chandler. Chandler. FMF had rented Freeman's parents' camper. They paid his family to bring the camper down there so that Donnie and his girlfriend or fiance or whoever it was at the time would have a place to stay. So Donnie gets there.
Johnny Junior or Senior?
Junior.
Okay,
and he's
I would
got
think so.
Dano from DVS and a couple people with him, and he comes into this camper he's rented. He's like, yeah, I got a spot to stay. And he comes in, and there's a bunch of 17, 18, 19-year-olds in there with alcohol poisoning, wrecked. And I'm sure he was not thrilled on that.
And I still think this is a lie, but I remember ZV being in there, and I met him, and he was in there just talking trash. But, dude, did you not drink then?
Oh, no, I was then. I was probably cutting loose at that point. Oh, no. No. That year, I would have never drank at that point.
Yeah, dude, I remember you being, like, telling me you look like a little skater punk or something. You had, like, little shaggy hair and stuff, and then I remember you telling me you didn't drink.
Remember,
you were still.
They got me to drink a beer, and it was so gross. I would take a big swig of Sun Drop and then drink and chug the beer, and they started calling me Sun Drop. It was the first time Loretta's was the first time I'd ever. It was the first time ever.
I'm sure you weren't 21 either at that point.
No chance.
He probably, because I'm older than you are. I was probably barely 23, 24.
What's funny is I never drank till I was 21. Now I'm basically an alcoholic.
I think that was the same year we put like 15 golf carts on the 10 Commandments one night, and we got up the next morning and they had a dozer and had them all chained together and they were dragging them off in like a big train, pulling them off the track.
What, did y'all just like steal a bunch of them and take them out there?
Yeah, and we had went and got keys for every one of them. So we had like the Yamaha, the Club Car, the Easy Go. We had keys that would fit every one of them. So we just run up, grab one, go put it on the track. Go run, grab another one, put it on the track.
Oh.
So how did you get the keys? You brought your own keys that would work for them ones, or you just?
No, we just take them. We just take them out of the rental carts. We just take them and then.
It's like at the little the rental spot that had like 4 of them. You just take a key out of it.
So you guys would go to the rental spot with nobody's watching or security at the time, just randomly steal one, park it on the 10 Commandments, run back like a little giddy scroll girls, go get another one, park it on the 10 Commandments. That's what you guys did?
Yep.
What year was that?
Man, that would have been probably 2009, so I was probably 18 years old at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been the first year I met you then. 09.
Yep.
Because that was the first year I worked. The first year I worked for Tristan there.
Yep, that was it.
These are the stories that I wanted the show for. Exactly.
There was
fucking hilarious. There's so many millions of good stories.
There was another one. You were up hanging out up on the hill when the Rock River rig was up there, and was it the Red Baron, or it was before it was the RCH truck? Weren't you up there, ZV?
I don't remember.
So you remember where the pool was? and you pass the pool, you go up the hill, and it was like a tier, like it was almost like the cell phone lot where everybody would drive up on the hill to
Stagecoach.
Stagecoach, yeah. So right there was the Rock River rig was there, and then so was the Red Baron, which would be the RCH rig was there. I could have swore you were up there hanging out with us.
I probably was.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
And then I don't remember who it was, had a bunch of water balloons, and DC, old Davey was riding with his wife on a golf cart on like the tier below us, and somebody threw a water balloon and smoked her.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, and then he came up to the top of that hill faster than that golf cart was supposed to be going, and just lit into everybody, and no one would fess up to who it was. I don't know. I don't even remember who it was. But dude, no one obviously knew it was Davey and his wife. But yeah, she got punished.
Yeah, I can't believe I never got in trouble down there. It's really, truly remarkable that I never got in.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in their right mind would have smoked the guy running the Beyonce.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Oh.
There was I remember another time with ZV. This is before I got to know him pretty good. It was something to do it was like in the Kicker Creek area. Your buddy that has all that money, has all them cool cars and stuff. I remember him having like a bike or something down there. It was like super tricked out. I'm friends with him on Facebook. Got the R8s and stuff. Holman.
He's got Lambos now.
Yeah. I don't know why. Did he have I don't know why his bike was down by the creek or something, but he had like a badass bike down by the creek.
I don't remember.
Yeah, either.
It all kind of runs together. All those years kind of seem to run together now.
Yeah. Do you want to share the story of the Bloomin' Onion?
Dude, I know the Outback you're talking about is a guy with an ass like a reindeer, but I don't remember the Bloomin' Onion story.
That's like a reindeer.
Oh, buddy. This guy was stacked. I'm telling you.
Apparently, we're doing a gay porn.
So we go to Claremont to play golf with a couple of our buddies down there
in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is like a year ago.
And this waiter that we have in Claremont, if anybody's from Claremont, they know the waiter I'm talking about.
What's funny is my uncle actually lives in Claremont. He's the Helmet House rep for all North Florida, and I'm texting him like, "Do you know this guy?"
If he goes to the Outback,
he'll know. If he goes to the Outback, he'll know. This guy
he probably knows him by name.
This guy's got hamstrings like 5-gallon buckets. And I mean, when I tell you he's poured into these pants he's got on, I mean, he greased these pants up to get in them. And we're talking about it. We're like, my gosh, look at this guy. And finally he comes back, Corey just goes, "Hey, man, how much you squat?"
Well, before we even get to that part, so the guy walks by, and then it's obvious. You can't miss this dude's ass.
No,
and before he walks by, ZV said, "That dude's got a slab on him." And dude, I'm in tears. I'm in tears at this point. I'm like, dude, he's got a massive ass. Like, and so we had to address the elephant in the room when he came back.
He has a slab of ass on him. That's right. I do remember that.
I appreciate the fact that you guys did a real life Dumb and Dumber moment of, whoa, yeah, check out the butt on that.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, he must work out.
100%.
Like, it was a real life moment that you guys had at an Outback in Florida.
I wish we could get a picture of ZV up on the screen so people can see what he looks like. He's a goofy looking motherfucker.
Is he?
Oh,
Is he
God.
uglier than
I
me?
am
There's no
easily
way.
the best looking guy you know. You need to calm down with that.
Anyway, finish the story about the slab.
Yeah, so we're talking about it, and then the guy, and I don't remember what you said. You said something to the extent of like, "Well, I bet you could squat a house, couldn't you?" It was something that was totally like, it could have been taken as like he was hitting on him, but it was hilarious.
You could tell the guy was a little sweet. I would assume he definitely acted a little sweet.
I thought he said he had an old lady. I'm pretty sure he said he had an old lady.
Maybe he does.
That's the tricks out.
I can't find his Facebook.
But then there was some old lady choking on a shish kebab or something, and buddy, they're just walking around. They're just laid out on the floor. They
got food to serve.
So, after I asked the dude about how much he squats, we hear some commotion at the front door. It's behind me, but ZV and our other buddy Brad could see the door, and they just see people like there's commotion going on. So one of the waitress walks up. She goes, "Yep, she's just laid out on the floor," and like business as usual. And I'm like, "Laid out on the floor?" ZV's like, "I gotta go check on this." So, dude, and you gotta imagine we all just flew in. It's late as hell. We just got the rental car. It's probably 10:30 at night. We're ready to go to sleep. We're just like, we gotta get some food. So we're just delusional. And they're like, all right. So ZV's like, let me out. I'm gonna go see what's going on. And he walks up there. He comes back and he goes, yeah, she just laid out on the floor, dude. Like, there's a girl laid out on the floor, and people are just walking around her.
I said they're not paying no attention. I think some guy just laid a blooming onion down the side.
And dude, again, we lost it because he just said, yeah, some dude just laid a blooming onion down next to her. And obviously, we're just like, we're in tears about this whole thing.
Honestly, me growing up in Florida, it's just Florida.
Yeah. Dude, they were stepping over this poor girl. And then the firemen came in, and they just like shuttled, like put her on the stretcher, and out she went. Nobody even, she didn't have family with her or anything.
Well, we hope she's okay.
There was something else to that story, though. There was something right after that. I don't know.
All I remember is every time I got in the golf cart and I went to take off, my golf bag was falling off and hitting the ground because as soon as I was not looking, he would go over and unstrap the golf bag from the golf cart. So as soon as he would get in and hit the gas or get going and hit a bump, the golf bag would fly off and stuff would just fly out of it and roll everywhere.
And you're probably at this point like, God damn it, Corey, stop!
Well, they were rental clubs, so it was hard not to laugh at it. But yeah, I was more aggravated that he kept getting me, and I kept missing it.
Well, because I'd let so much time go by before we'd finally just let it roll.
Yeah, at least 2 holes, and then kind of do it like that.
I gotta.
Well, ZV, you got any other funny stories? Because we got another dude that we should call. We're actually already past what the show should be, but dude, I've gone 4 hours. I don't care if Corey's having a good time. I'm having a good time. We'll go.
Oh no, man! I think I'm capped out.
You cashed out?
I thought I had a video. Yeah. I thought I had the video of your bag. Oh, here it is, right here.
Here, hold it up to that camera.
Hey, let me tell you what this guy used to do. Let me tell you what Corey used to do. He would take pictures because he's in love with himself. He would take pictures of himself. Or no, he would post a picture on his Instagram and be like, the homie snapped a shot of me today. And it would not be a person. It would be him putting the camera somewhere. So we started calling it the homie prop. You could always tell when the camera was set up on some inanimate object to take a picture of him. So every time there's a picture of him on post, I'm hitting him, hey, the homie prop. Did you catch you on that one?
Look, any man with a man bun with Instagram, he's thirsty, okay? He's got to take pictures like that.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, he's a good-looking dude. I hit it again, and he pulled a good-looking wife, you know? So,
yeah. Outkicked his coverage a little bit.
Outkicked.
You know.
Did I show this camera?
It's get it close to that camera if you want.
Tell me if I'm zoomed in.
They can see it.
All right, here we go. Dude, you can hear it sound like glass shattering when his clubs hit the ground.
Yeah, we were supposed to golf again this past year and make a trip, but my kids started racing a bunch, and then we kind of lost track of time. Didn't really get a chance to do it. I'm hoping we get to do a golf trip this year.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, dude, hit me up. Like, if you're gonna be coming down into Georgia area or whatever. I mean, my dumbass is still racing, so I might be at the same track sometime.
Brad said the fire truck. He said how cool the fire truck was in Claremont, which it was, dude. It was like, if there was a Lamborghini of fire trucks, Claremont, Florida has the sickest fire trucks.
I think all the motocross racers like helped paid for that with their bonus money,
dude. I mean, they had every chrome piece just dialed in on this thing,
dude. Those things are.
What Georgia tracks do you ride at? Do you come north any, like Lazy River, or go down, or any of those, or are you down further down?
I mean, really, I'll go all over. I'll go to WMMX.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been there a few times.
In Sweetwater?
Yeah. The problem is I'm hurt most of
Oh
the year.
man, that's 45. That's probably 45 minutes from my house.
Well, dude, yeah, I'll make sure to save your number and whatever, and we'll touch base.
Do you have a pit bike?
Oh yeah, but I just follow my kid around on it. My kid's on a KTM
I've
and a
got
PW.
the sickest pit bike track at my house.
Oh really?
He's got a sick.
All right, but is it like doubles or tables?
Oh, dude, it's like a full blown arena cross track.
No, well,
like,
my kid's not gonna be
my
able
little
to ride
girl
it.
shreds, so it's set up for her to like have like a little arena cross.
Yeah,
track
but your little boy rides on it.
Yeah, he rides good, but his sister smokes his ass.
Dude, that just remind me. My kid rode the arena cross track in Durhamtown and realized the importance why you sight lap, because he did a double, and then he went to a table, and the next one was a double, which he thought was a table, and he sent it. And just as soon as he landed, basically, bike just exploded underneath him. And like by the time I got him calmed down and fine, he's like, "I thought it was the same as the other jump." And I was like, "Well, hey, this is a real important life lesson for you. You take it easy the first lap." I was like, "That is something you are going to remember for the rest of your life right now. Is what happens when you don't do that." Yeah.
The ZV, I knew ZV already, and then I like kind of introduced him to this guy named Brad, who I also played video games with, and played video games with Brad. Dude, we're going on probably at least 15 years of playing video games. Never met the dude until last year.
Sorry, what?
Nerd, yeah. I got you. So we were all in this group chat together, and ZV knows him and everything, and so we all get this idea to fly to Claremont. First time I've ever met Brad in person. So we fly in, and we're at the airport at baggage, and I recognize the dude, and I'm like, I go over to him, and we're just looking at each other dead in the face, just like, and just bust out laughing. Like, we can't, the fact that we're like looking at each other for the first time. Yeah, and we're just like, we're in tears for 20 minutes just laughing at one another because of like, "You're a goofy looking mother." He's like, "You're a goofy looking." And it's like, and then by this time, I no clue where my golf clubs. He's already got his golf clubs. My golf clubs take like an hour to come out. So we're just sitting there. It's like, I don't know. Good times.
That's funny. All right. I'll let you guys get to it.
All right. See you, ZB.
I'll be sure to listen more. Yep. Nice to meet you, man.
See you, bud. All right. Now we got to do another beep, 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 beep. Do you need to take a pee break or anything? Or are you good? I snuck one in when you guys were talking that last time.
I pissed in your parking lot.
Nice. I have a parking lot?
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of, dude, the flight in was awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome. That was first class. Yeah, I put my people up.
I've never had first class before. That's the first flight.
And a limousine from the airport to here? Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say a Hyundai Sonata is a limousine, but it was good. That was good. It was good enough. It got me here. The driver sucked, though. That's why I was late.
Like,
hello?
Ben!
What's up?
What's up, dude?
Living the kid life these days.
Well, we all, three of us are part of that.
This is a voice I haven't heard in a long time.
He just sounds like a ginger, too, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah. Like,
The
he's
red
after
beard
my
gives it away.
Lucky Charms.
You got a kid?
Oh, I had a kid 9 months ago.
Oh, nice.
Dude, you and Corey are close.
Yeah, I'm almost 7 months now.
Oh yeah, it's a journey.
Mm-hmm. What's your brother up to?
Which one?
You have more than one? I remember one.
I think it's your older brother, or the one that worked with us at Roost. Douglas.
He's probably in jail in Florida somewhere.
Dougie?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He was funny.
Yeah.
I
He
always
was a
remember there was like a scrawny one that was always around Bremen with the cast on.
That was Dougie.
That sounds like him, yeah.
I didn't realize he was your older brother.
No, it's younger than him. Wait.
Always had a cast.
Dougie's younger than you, though, right?
Yeah, he's the middle one.
Yeah.
And then I have a younger brother.
I remember their younger one. He was like, dude, he's like 12 when I knew you.
Yep.
When I knew you. Back when we all worked together.
Oh, and speaking of those mad skills, I would never get my orders in time because he was always playing that thing.
Dude.
Fair.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
And he wonders why he got fired from Roost. Mad skills.
Oh, no.
Dude, good
Which
times.
is funny because I actually texted Kristen and Christina and was like, "Hey, Corey's coming on." And I checked with Lindsay. I was like, "Was there like a bad fallout?" And she's like, "No, I don't think there
It wasn't
was."
like bad.
Yeah, it was just like it's
listen,
not
put it this way.
working.
In hindsight, I deserved it.
Yeah,
I was just, I don't know.
Very
man.
mature of you going up to that. But no, Christine was even like, I literally, like, she texted me the next morning. She's like, I can't think of a good story, but he's an awesome dude.
Oh, yeah. No, Chris and Christina, like I said, I knew Christina way before even moving here, just through racing, and she sponsored Rock River, and that's who Tristan rode for.
Yeah. Well, she kind of didn't sponsor Rock. Right? They
basically ran the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Says, dude, when she texted me this morning, I was like, hey, I know you're going out to L.A. Like, be safe. The fire's going on out there.
What's she going to L.A. for?
She's part of the AMA now.
AMA. Her and J-Bone.
Yeah, her and J-Bone are like the AMA.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Last I talked to Christina, she was already like the Rock River thing was done, and then I actually ordered these from her. These stickers. Burkett built, which kind of
Bucket
built. Yeah. But those got those from her. I think it was like Christmas last year. She made me some shirts and stuff too.
Dude, I will say she gave Megan and I the coolest wedding gift. This is back in 2013. It's actually, she had these like glasses made that says like Bennett's Brewing Company established 2013, like our wedding. Like, it was just the coolest. Like, I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
I was like, did you print these? She's like, no. I actually just ordered them because I figured with the decals and stuff. But yeah, it was. I still have all 6 of them, and like almost don't want to drink out of them to ruin them. It was just cool.
Yeah, keep them.
Yeah,
forever
sitting in the cabinet. I think I've drank out of them twice.
Oh,
so actually, you know what? That's what I should have as my drinking cup on the show. I'm gonna do that.
No free shout outs right here on the Sweetwater.
Yeah, you need to get Christina on. You probably have some crazy stories of all of us in that shop.
Oh yeah, I would love to get Chris and Christina on. The only thing that pisses me off is I wanted to get Jeff Chambers on, and I wanted to get Chris and Christina, and both Kevin with Winners Take Y'all, who their show is 2 miles down the road from me. Get both of those fuckers
Who's that?
on.
Kevin
Kelly.
Oh,
yeah, they do another podcast 2 miles down the road from here called Winners Take Y'all.
Oh, so you don't have the DMXS thing no more?
Iser is in the mountains, and it's just hard for them to coordinate, like, getting there, is my understanding.
I didn't know Kevin was still doing podcasts and stuff.
Yeah, he started his own. It's on Burb and all that stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
It's kind of funny. Like, when I started this thing, I reached out to David Iser. We spoke, like, an hour and a half when I was
I don't know why that name sounds familiar.
That's DMXS.
Okay, cool.
Iser and Kelly
I didn't know that.
The two.
So I probably know who he is, just like seeing him and stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't know who you are, though.
Oh, I guarantee he doesn't have a clue who I am. No clue who I am. Yeah, Chris and Christina, great people. But yeah, so that's after Mountain Motorsports. That's where I went. I was at Mountain for like 4 months, and then found out because me and Christina, like, we were friends through just the racing and stuff. And I guess I think I found out they were in Bells Ferry, Kennesaw area, whatever. Yeah. And I texted her and I was like, hey, like, I live here now. And she was like, really? Like, that's cool. And I don't know how, like, the job came up. I don't remember what happened, but either way, like they call it like the team manager position for Roost came up, and I was like, yeah, awesome. That'd be fun to do. So I went in, met Chris for the first time.
Which Chris ended up being that at one point.
Chris.
On the phone.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Oh, I did it. I was there for about 12 years at Roost.
What's funny is the last time I think I've seen you in person, maybe not, but the last time I remember it was at Lazy River. And who's the ginger kid that just turned pro?
Drew Adams.
Drew Adams and Chris were hanging out at the Roost rig, and Drew's on 50s or 60s or whatever. And I just remember making like ginger jokes to Chris and him to Drew at the same, like, just be me being my normal self.
Of course.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, that's Drew Adams.
Yeah, so that had to have been after I left there.
Oh, yeah. That was way after. This is like 2016 or 17.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I left for a year and then took over the sales stuff. And that's when I started doing the traveling and stuff. Yeah, but what about the Hooters parking lot, Corey?
I was going to say, tell us some stories.
That was the pit bike race, wasn't it?
Oh, when we tried to do a supermoto and we had about 10 people out there, then the cops showed up.
There was a motorcycle shop involved with that too.
I can't remember, but all I know is we all of a sudden there was
10
pit bikes ripping through the.
Oh, and it was probably more than that. But there was are you talking about the actual like sanctioned event that didn't?
No, I think you put this together with everyone.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Well, what city was it?
Yeah, what Hooters was it? Was it the one on Old 41?
The one right in front of was it Electric Cowboy?
Yeah,
Cowboy?
Old 41.
Yeah.
Then what shop would have been involved
No,
with it?
this
at
is
that
two total
point?
different stories.
Okay.
There was an actual like sanctioned event for this like grand opening of this motorcycle shop, and it was like in a plaza, and they like blocked off the parking lot, put cones up and everything. They had like a supermoto track for pit bikes, and I went out there with Chris Denny, and there was a ton of people out there. But what specific event he's talking about was
that
just
Canton?
maybe
Cycle Nation?
maybe.
I think it was up in Canton. Yeah, the Cycle Nation.
Yeah,
stuff.
so
I
it
don't
must
know
have
what it
been
is
when they
now.
bought out what was actually Motorsports, not Motorsport Outlet. Their shop name was Motorsport Honda of Canton. And then Cycle Nation bought them and the Yamaha Suzuki Cowboy dealer down the road and put them all in that one building.
Makes sense.
So that
yeah.
must have been the grand. And there was a Hooters right down the road because I worked at that shop at one point.
At the Hooters?
No, not. I don't have the required equipment for that. I mean, I could tuck it and I could put it like a bra on, but it doesn't.
Are you
look
getting
good.
those two confused? Do you think that was the Hooters? I'm still trying to. I do remember. So the park. Oh, you're talking about over here. It was with. You're talking about the parking lot over off by Floyd Road and Austell Road.
Maybe it was by the actual town center mall. That Hooters.
That would have been the one on 41, by Electric
41.
Cowboy.
That sounds about right. Was that the one?
Set this up. Everyone
Well, Cowboys
showed up.
back
We rode
then.
for about 10 minutes, and all of a sudden the cops. pulled
Yeah,
up. I'm
was
like,
I think
"Oh, here we go."
Taylor Brinkman and those boys were out there too, weren't they?
On their Zumas.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
there was
yeah,
A bunch of
yeah.
Zumas and stuff.
Yeah, that went over really well. It didn't last long. It was a great idea though.
It was a perfect idea.
I'm trying to remember who I bought a pit bike from. Some dude that was like a supermoto guy. He was like he raced street bikes.
It wasn't.
Greg Day?
No.
Mm-mm. It wasn't Herman, was it?
No. This dude, I remember going to his house and buying it. He had it posted.
What did he look like?
Short dude. I remember he had a daughter. His daughter was at the house too.
Hispanic looking?
He's a white guy. Short
Dave
dude.
Cryer?
Dave, yes. Yes,
That's
Dave.
funny that I put that
Yes.
together.
Yep.
I was at a movie premiere with him not too long ago.
I went into his garage and he had motorcycles everywhere in his garage. And he sold me this KLX 110, had a big bore
Dave's a
kit.
little Hispanic looking.
Oh,
That's
is he?
why- yeah, that's why I
Okay.
asked
Okay.
that.
Yeah, so he sold me. I mean, that was a sick 110, dude. It had everything done to it.
I gotta text him that. That's funny. I'm gonna tell him what
I
time
might still be friends with him on social media. But yeah, so actually the first supermoto event I went to was with him, and it was at this over by Floyd Road. I'm pretty sure it was like Floyd Road and like Austell Road. It was like this open parking lot, and it was him and a bunch of street bike guys, and they're full leathers riding TTR 125s, like knee dragging.
You met my buddy Opie then.
Had to have, yeah. But Dave invited me out there, and I rode that 110, and that thing would haul, dude. I mean, it was fast, but the 110 or the 125 was like the setup. Like the better setup to do that stuff with.
Until they ripped the hubs off because there was no rubber bushings in the sprockets.
Like no cush or whatever?
Yeah, it would just rip the hubs right apart or destroy the transmissions.
Oh, like a D-cell or whatever?
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep. They were known for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that. That was fun. Chris Denny had a nice little pit bike track at his house too.
Were you there when I burnt my leg?
Yes. That was disgusting.
Oh my God, that was awful.
Were you at Chris's house when you remember Kent that ran the plotter and stuff?
Yes, the redheaded kid.
Yeah. The redheaded guy recognizes the redheaded guy. What do you know? Dude,
we best friends?
So Chris also had this ability, Chris Denny had this ability to encourage people to do things they probably shouldn't do. And
he probably did it by like, I have one lung and I could fucking do that, right?
Dude, every time.
This was a professional pit bike rider.
Yeah.
Let's put that out there.
But so Kent, this guy's like, dude, Kent's probably like 6'3", and he looks like Napoleon, curly red hair.
Drives a Versa.
Drives a Nissan Versa. Real, just like interesting dude. And he ran all like the plotters and stuff at Roost and for Denny and all that stuff. And Chris was like, hey guys, we're going to ride pit bikes after work. You want to go? And we're like, yeah, I'll load up my bike. We'll go. And then Kent was like, yeah, I'll go. Sure. So Kent gets out there and he gets on Ashley's TTR 110 at this time, and has never ridden a motorcycle before. And I see somebody running. I don't know who it was, running toward the front yard, and Kent's like laid over in the bushes. And Chris gets over there, and Kent's like seeing stars, and
knocks himself out.
he got knocked silly. They lift the motorcycle up, and the foot peg had went into this dude's calf and was like filleted open, like the size of the foot peg. And Kent looks down at it and just was like, and then Chris had to like sit him down, like, dude, just you're fine, chill out. It was disgusting.
We got a procedure for this. We're good.
Yeah.
Sadly, this isn't our first rodeo.
Yeah.
We know how to handle this. We're kind of amateur professionals at this.
Yeah.
So,
I think that was before the party got started, because usually anytime we rode out there, we had Bomar would come out there.
Yeah.
And,
I meant to text him to see if he knew anything, because he's a good buddy of mine.
Bomar, and then Steve. Yeah, Steve would come out there too.
And bully people off the track, basically.
Dude,
you want to know the story that I remember the most about Steve is the fact that he went into Vegas one year, and he had like either a Monster or a Fox or whatever shirt on, went into a random bar.
Monster.
And somebody was like, man, you're like somebody, right? Like this husband and wife. And he's just like, playing it cool or whatever. They're like, no, you're somebody. And they said, he goes, Davey Millsaps. They bought it.
Oh. He would do that stuff all the time.
Like just to fuck with people.
Supercross race.
Yeah.
my first time meeting Steve was at, I think it was a DMSX party, like the after party or Supercross party, and I'd already knew Christina, and I'm over there talking to Christina. This music's loud and everything, and Steve comes up and he basically just like bullies his way into the conversation, and he was like looking at me. I'm like, "What's up, dude? Like, who is this guy?" And Christina's like, "It's okay. Like, I know him." And I'm like, "Who is that?" She goes, "Oh, that's Steve. That's one of our friends." I'm like, "Oh, dude, I don't want no harm. Like, brother, chill out."
And he probably was doing it just to fuck with you.
Probably, yeah. Dude, he's always been a big
He's very
dude.
dry, sarcastic, but funny. Yeah.
That's the first time I'd ever met him.
What about you living with our printer for a while, and every day you would come in saying how disgusting he was? Old Robert.
Oh.
Maybe don't drop that last name, but wait, what? Living with him?
Yeah, so right before Josh. Yeah, was there, so, and even before Kent. So we had a guy there, and he was handling all the plotters and the printers and stuff. And I don't remember what happened, but I needed a roommate, and Rob was the first guy that I knew, and he's like, "Yeah, let's get a place together." Sure. So we get a place together, and the dude just like blazed every day, and it was just like, dude, I never smoked or anything, so I'm coming in, dude, I'm secondhand high, like I smell like I smoked, and he would get in the shower, and I made it clear, like, dude, please don't smoke in the house. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like when people come over, it smells like a damn weed factory in here. So his idea of no one to smell it would be go in his shower, close the door, open his window, and turn on the vent. And the
vent would probably blow it into the house.
And like the steam from the shower would like, I don't know, like
atomize it.
it never worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, it was funny you say that. I actually saw him about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was at
the Claremont Lounge, and
I was on a job site over by Target on Cobb Parkway, and there was a school there that just got built. And
he's allowed to be close to it.
He's a teacher there.
Oh no shit!
So I'm driving through I'm driving
7 years for it.
Do what?
He only went to school for about 7 years for it.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, dude, he was at remember what school he went to?
I want to say it was KSU.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
And then he left KSU and went to like the junior college or what? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
But I was driving through the parking lot and I looked over and I was like, that guy looks familiar. And I stared at him for a second. I'm like, dude, I think that's Rob. Yeah. So I left, and I wasn't going to get out of my truck and go talk to this. Like, there's 20 kids running around.
Yeah.
So I texted him afterward, and he was like, "Hey, dude, why didn't you say something? I'm like, dude, it was kind of awkward. There was kids everywhere, and they're like 8 years old, and I was like, I had to get out of there anyway.
Some kids start yelling, "Stranger danger! Steven Seagal's here with a man bun."
But he had messaged me, and he goes, dude, I'm so glad you messaged me. He goes, I thought you hated me this whole time. I'm like, for what? He's like, well, when you and I like quit being roommates, it was just kind of a weird like exit. Because him and I were like, him and I were beefing like pretty hard just because like he would always smoke and I hated it. And
yeah.
There was some other stuff.
I'm sure he doesn't now that he's a school teacher.
Tuna fish and mustard in the sink. I remember you'd come into work just like, dude, he won't clean the sink out.
That was another. Yeah, he was an animal when it came to cleaning stuff. Like it was, and the pizza boxes, dude. Pizza boxes would just be stacked in the kitchen. I'm like, we have a dumpster outside, like 100 feet away from the kitchen sink. Yeah,
we have one at the work.
Yeah, and we have a massive dumpster at work. Oh God. Yeah, good times.
Well, Chris, you got any other stories you should bring up or talk about? We've actually only made it through about half my list of things that he and I were going to talk about.
Oh no, just the one more time. The old when I wrapped his hood on his CTSV, and then Christina texts, "Hey, could you take a picture of his car?" And it was like 15 minutes before we were supposed to do it, and it was right at the end of work, and we had to rip it off.
I remember
was so
that.
depressed.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
We were gonna wrap his hood,
So
and we had to wait till after work, but we did it like 15 minutes before work was gonna. Because work ended at 5. We did it at like 4:45.
Oh,
it started a little early.
She said you guys can do it. Why wouldn't you just wait 15 minutes and then take a picture after work?
No, it was supposed
I was young and I wanted to rap.
Yeah, and we were supposed to be working, not working on my car.
Yeah.
So she wanted to see that the car was not touched.
Oh, okay.
But I'm pretty sure there were cameras in there or something.
I don't think there was ever cameras in there.
Oh.
But yeah.
How did then they would see who started the fire?
I mean,
no,
Yeah,
they
true.
determined it was natural causes, but
That fire was crazy though.
yeah.
Yeah, we had to work out of the house, so that was a story.
Yeah, I had to drive. Like, we got a call from Lindsay. She was out of state at a race with Mackenzie, and we took her spare keys, and I had to drive it out of the burning side of the building, basically, while the fire trucks were there putting it out.
Oh, you're behind it where the fence was?
It was behind the fence, parked next to the building. Yeah, as it's on fire, I jumped in the car and backed it out.
Oh.
Chris had us inventory that whole thing once it was done. We had to go in the burning building and pull everything out and write everything down.
Was there any bikes in there?
No, there was a Transit though.
I was gonna say, I think there was a car getting wrapped. Yeah, like a brand new car.
It was a brand new Transit that was getting a commercial wrap on it.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a fun job. Fun people, fun job.
So you got fired.
Like I said, dude, in hindsight, I don't blame Christina. And it was very just sudden. I remember we were standing there, we're like, your brother was actually there. He would help out during the holidays. Dougie would.
Oh, Loretta's holidays.
Yeah.
They would always bring people in for Loretta.
And I basically
Dookie?
Dude, Dave Dookie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was a Drew Yenerich's mechanic for a really long time. But he came by and helped out a good bit too. But the final procedure was like shipping all the graphics out.
Yeah.
And you basically take the graphics. There was a sheet that like had the image of like, okay, here's the graphics for this person. It had all their information on it. And then you put the label on top of that. You stack them all like, okay, 20 different orders, all in order on this like table. And then you'd package them up. And then the sticker goes on top of the box, tape it all up. Well, most of the time, like 98% of the time, I would do this by myself, but it would get busy during Loretta's and Christmas, so they'd bring help in, and it was usually Dougie, Finn's brother. And
worst help,
dude. I feel like he sabotaged me half the time. I feel like he would mix shit up just to do it, and then we would never know it until like 3 days later when someone would get their graphics, and they were like, "Hey, man, I've got graphics for a KTM when I have a Yamaha." I'm like, "All right," and then I'd be like, Chris, yo, dude, we got to rush out some graphics real quick before I get my ass chewed out. And he's like, what do you got? And I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, and I'd have to like figure out whose graphics they were, and he had to run the whole procedure. And, but yeah, there was rush boards. There was like rush boards, and there was something else.
procedure boards.
Procedure boards.
I don't think it was mistake. It was mess up or something like that.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. Rush boards haunt me still to this day.
They were terrible. You'd walk in the morning and have like 4 rush boards on your desk. It like first thing in the morning, and that'd be the first thing you see. Like, oh my God, what is this?
Yep. Good times, good times.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's good talking to you, dude.
Say what's up.
I think, are we still friends on social media?
Yeah, hit me up.
Yeah. You were all into like card collecting and stuff last time I saw.
Oh, yeah. I saw Pokemon cards, and then I wrapped cars, exotics.
And you somehow had a kid.
Yeah, that happens when you don't use protection.
I was more meaning like a nerd comment. Like, how did you get laid?
Oh, I've been with the same girl since actually when I worked with Corey.
I think I remember her then, because she'd come in every so often.
Yep.
Cool, man. Yeah, it was good to catch up. Thanks for calling in, and I need to get you on sometime.
Yeah, no, I'll come in and sit down, and we can chit-chat about Roost. And
start jotting down a few, like if you think of a story at random time, because that's really what helps. Like just a quick note, like, when I talked about Corey dropped his bike off the exit at the summit, like it has to just be a little thing that's going to remind you of a memory that will just bring up a good story. So
sounds good.
All right, man. We'll catch you later.
Appreciate it.
All right. See you.
What's this thing? Can they still see this?
No, it's just it's on that one.
You click it. You click it over to that.
I switch it right here, which is why I'm like a little bit difficult with this whole setup.
That was fun. We had a little run of callers there.
Yeah, that was cool. Actually, even Sizemore was like, "Call me if you want," but it's like, "Nah, let's get the show going." So he missed his opportunity. I texted him when I said we're talking about him. That's his fault. All right.
Might miss the best guest.
All right, so what do we want to talk about next? I got Tishner. I got living at Bauer's place, MTF. Which one do you want to hit on?
So, all that kind of just like segues to one another. MTF was the early days of MTF when you remember a rider named Kyler West, a young dude. He was him and a kid named Colton Ford, who was from like,
I know that name.
Yeah, they were like good buddies. And Carter Oldno. No, they were all of them got like Colton and Carter were both from like this area, and then Bailey. They were all like, for sure, they were all friends and stuff. But Kyler rode with those guys. I knew Kyler through Sizemore, like through his dad and everything. And then when I got hurt, I ended up coming down here and was helping Kyler. Basically take him racing take him practice, work on his bikes. And then Kyler got pretty good. Matt Walker actually was working with this kid like privately for a little bit. This is like when training was like just starting, like you would have a private trainer come to your house. MTF was like the only facility around.
Yeah.
So Matt had started training Kyler over at his house, and at Kyler's house, they had a nice track they just built.
So were you riding at MTF in these places, or are you more wrenching at this time?
Wrenching.
Okay.
So MTF, I was wrenching with for Kyler.
Okay.
So I say wrenching. I was basically just a babysitter for him. Like we went to MTF, and I think I even had my bike, but I didn't ride. But that was like the early days. So that was MTF when Freeze was there, Barsha was there on like 150s, Scuba, Stephen Clark. There was a whole list of people. Levi Kilbarger was there doing some Supercross stuff. His mechanic, I cannot remember his name, was like a wizard when it come to motorcycles, and he helped me out a ton. So that was the early days of MTF, and then Tyler got like invited to come train there, so I'd go and help out there for a little bit. And I can't remember what happened, but it ended up I might have still been riding then. I think I was. That's before I got hurt. Yeah, I was still riding then. So anyway, left there. I don't know what happened. I'm not working with Kyler anymore. I'm still riding, whatever. And then going back to meeting people on MySpace. So I don't know how, but me and Tyler's sister were friends on social media or MySpace.
Tyler Bowers.
Bowers, yeah. We had
Chelsea, right?
Chelsea, yeah. And we had a bunch of like mutual friends through MySpace. But I never like.
It makes me feel so old to talk about
MySpace. Yeah.
MySpace. And we all just abandoned Tom.
Dude,
we were
that's
like,
crazy.
Oh,
dude, MySpace
Facebook?
was sick. Dude, I love it.
Peace
I love
out, Tom.
MySpace. Yeah, you had top 10, top 8.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
like if you want to make my top 10, be somebody cool.
yeah,
you know?
cool. And you just
Or somebody
slide somebody
piss you
out.
off,
Yep, slide them off.
kick them
And
out.
you put your favorite song on there.
Yeah.
I remember I had Just Surrender, All Time Low. Had all these cool masquerade bands on there. But yeah, so the MTF thing it was a quick stint there. I mean, it was still some fun stuff going on there. Like that was the early days of MTF. I mean, it wasn't near what it was now. I mean, it was basically they had just the track. There was like a turn track, the motocross track. GPF, I think, had barely just got started next door.
Yeah.
And then somehow along the lines, like I still was trying to race and do my thing or whatever. And I don't know what it was. So I ended up through MySpace. I was friends with Chelsea, and her and I had met or in passing or something, like at Arena Cross or something. And then we started like talking on MySpace.
And probably Instant Messenger.
Was that even around then? Oh yeah, I guess
AIM would have been around then.
Yep. And then
I think that was pre MySpace.
Dude, I don't know. I think all this is, I'm trying to connect some dots here. So the first time I think I ever met her was I flew to Orlando to see my buddy Alan. I think it was the same time Orlando Supercross was going on. Chelsea was there, and I met her and her mom and watched the Supercross. I think that was RC's like retirement race.
5.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about that's about.
I was there.
Yeah, okay.
Him and Stewart had that epic battle, and Stewart
Dude,
won
was
at
that not
the end.
the shittiest stadium? I remember the concrete seats and like the plastic sitting on them.
It was a football or a college football stadium for UCF, which is
Well, I
nothing.
just remember the seating sucked. But anyway, so that's how I met.
You know what's funny? That jersey I got from McGrath in like '96 at that stadium.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was that.
McGrath.
Yeah, that jersey was from.
So
Orlando
he actually
Stadium.
gave you that jersey.
No. I don't know how my dad got it. My dad got a replica jersey somehow, but at the Supercross, I had him sign it.
Oh, that's cool.
Like
okay.
myself as a little 10-year-old kid in like '95 or '6, like bringing that to him to get him to sign it.
You think he remembers you?
No.
Kind of like all the people I know.
Reached out to him to see if I could send him the number plate to sign for the replica bike of that, and I couldn't get a hold of him. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Dickhead.
Should have got in touch with somebody. I mean, I'm sure you can get him through.
I honestly, there's ways where I could have, and I was like, I don't want to go that route.
Yeah.
I went the channels I was willing to try, and after that, I was like, nah. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Whatever.
Would you Instagram DM him and?
Maybe. I can't remember. I don't know.
That would be cool though.
Orlando Supercross.
Yeah, and that's
ADD kicked in on me on that one.
Me too. I'm over here in left field now. Orlando
Connecting
Supercross,
the
my buddy
dots.
Alan. Yeah,
Chelsea.
Chelsea. So her and I were like dating on social media, but had only met one time. Dude, and then that's when I I guess started to like get the fastest and peak out the fastest I ever was. And if I remember this correctly, they had just bought some property. Because that's when Tyler had just won like the Buku thing, the Arena Cross deal.
Yeah, that's all right.
And I remember they bought some property, I think is what it was. Like they lived in Danville, but they out in Kentucky. And I remember Chelsea saying, like, hey, they're building a track out here, and you want to come up here and ride with Tyler and a couple other guys? And I was like, yeah. So backed up my little Chevrolet truck, got all my stuff, drove up there, and I was up there. I don't remember how long I was up there. I was up there for a pretty good while, and just rode with him. And there were two brothers, Matt and Luke Vonlinger, which they're like Kentucky dudes that raced full circle. They knew Michael, the Kiten, the Supercross, the guy I helped in Supercross. It was just, I don't know, small world, obviously.
Yeah. Well, it really is a small world. Like once you kind of get into
but those guys would come up and ride like every day, and I was up there, and it turned out that track, that he had built there was insane. Dude, I don't think I hit half the jumps on it.
So
And
you were basically feeling like back to Mike's place
Yes.
when you were a little kid.
like you go to like a Bremen, like most of the jumps there like are pretty doable, like
Yeah.
pretty easy to do.
Well, you can't kill everybody out there,
Right.
Because you won't make any money because
Yeah.
nobody can come back.
So-
So yeah,
Go to this track, and I remember in the back, dude, he had this. They had this jump in the back, like it was most of the track was in the woods. I remember, and one of the first days I'm there, I'm like, dude, like I'm looking at the track, and wow, I pretty much do everything out here. So I get on my bike, start riding, and I'm like rolling some of these jumps. I'm like, dude, I ain't hitting half of this shit. And I remember like it was yesterday. I think I told him I was a sea rider or something, and there was like this big sweeper by the front gate area, and I hear Tyler on a Yamaha behind me. It's like one of the, I think it was like 2010, 2000, it wasn't it? It was like 09 Yamaha, and just that big jump, I come up to it, and I just hear him never let out, and it just looks like he takes off like an airplane. It had to have been the biggest jump I've ever seen in my life. It was like some like terra firma shit.
yeah.
And then he hit this every lap, every moto, and I'm just like, I will never hit that jump a day in my life. So that was my little stint there. But yeah, Tyler was a cool dude. Probably one of those dudes, if we were to talk to him right now, I don't know who that guy is, but
Nah, I bet he probably would remember you.
I don't know. But yeah, it was a cool spot that was like out in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. I do remember there was a place that had it was just outside of where they lived. There was like a little bar, and it had some of the best cheese fries I've ever had. I do remember that. But yes, we'd go there after riding, and that was that story. Yeah, cool story, right?
So you need a pee break at all? You
No,
good?
I'm
Okay, you're
good.
going good. All right. I just wasn't sure because then I was gonna say I could play the video that Lindsay brought up. Let the world know you're amazing.
Oh, is it on the screen?
Yeah, I'll put it on that screen. I sure will. All right, so to kind of preface this, and somehow when Lindsay and you are living together,
Is it
it
that little one at the bottom?
no, that's me and Beast's thing. You know what? It's not even in here. I moved it.
So where is it?
Well, God, relax, okay? Jeez, Linda. All right, so actually, you know what? We gotta do this. Shit, where is it? I don't see it.
You gotta get your
Is it
program
this
together.
one? No. So I will say, as you came up today,
Mhm.
it was perfect lighting. You could see everything, right? Well, the fucking motion light wasn't working the last show. And Danielle,
Outside?
yeah, was just giving me all kinds of shit for it. So I made this video.
Fucking happy now, Danielle. Back off.
It was working when I pulled up.
I know, because
Oh.
I installed a new one.
Oh.
But I was going to say, like, you know, everybody's goal, you
Daniel or
should be...
Danielle?
Danielle. You should be Rodney's girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's been giving me all kinds of shit for it. So, but yeah, everybody should strive to be 1% better every day. You know, so that's my 1%.
Honestly,
from the
I'm
last show.
impressed. This is the what you've crammed in here is impressive.
Good. I'm glad you think so. Oh, I know where it is. I didn't want to put it in here and you see it, so I found it
Here
on
we
Facebook.
Are, Kennesaw, Georgia. Open round.
All right, can I don't think I can do anything with that. Maybe make this full screen like this.
What
There
happened
we
to it?
go. All right. I really hope that. Do you remember making this, first off?
Yeah, vaguely. I don't.
All right. So, yeah, to preface the thing, Corey has this amazing ability to actually make a somewhat legitimate dirt bike noise and the motions and everything. So, enjoy, people.
Here we are, Kennesaw, Georgia. Open round. AMA Supercross.
Can they hear me?
We have the brand new 2013 prototype CRF 450. Here's the track. Start right here by the pits, down the start straight. Make a left to the whoop section. Around to the first double in the whole track. Nice little double into a triple.
How do we
Got a
fast
nice little
forward this?
right-hander here. Most riders are going
Get
to
to
be
the-
going
let's get to
inside
the
here,
point.
just kind of seat bouncing this. A lot of the guys are going to try to go outside. Way out here. Try to step on and over.
We had to suffer
This
through
nice
this, sir.
back corner coming back down the start straight.
I don't
The
remember where
two
that
laps
is.
here
Though.
show you both sections. Not sure.
I
Really
think
which
this is
one's
when
the
you were living
fastest.
with Josh.
We'll find out here shortly.
That sounds about
I
right.
know the gate's about to drop, so we need to get this show on the road.
I love the bike that says Burkett with your race number on it, though. I think you could either you have goggles on or you put them on.
Oh, did I
You
gotta-
put 'em
oh
on,
my
that's
god!
right.
What am I wearing? What jersey is that?
That's
What a tool bag!
That's
And
you.
then the bike falls off the stand. Oh my god, dude! I you know how often I see stuff pop up on memories on Facebook and I
Yeah.
just delete it. That would be one of those things. I don't know how you still have it.
What's funny is there's time like this morning I woke up at 3:20 wide awake and couldn't go back to sleep. And then of course I fall asleep at like 40 minutes before the alarm goes off, and the alarm goes off and you're like, oh, what year is it, you know? But I want to say it was the next day after you confirmed you were going to come on. So Tuesday probably or Monday. I don't remember. All I know is you randomly text me over the weekend, what's a place to get replating done? And I've just sent you the link.
Yeah.
And then like the next day I was like, I should invite Corey on.
Yeah,
So
I'm
then
trying to think. Somebody. Oh, my buddy Scott asked me. He was rebuilding the KDX.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
said it was for a KDX. But yeah, so I woke up and then I started thinking like, how can I find this video? And I searched like A1 because I remember you mentioning something about that. And I searched your name. I went through all your videos. I couldn't find it. I searched my name, my last name, Lindsay's name, and your name, and went to reels or videos, and it came up like that. And I was
On
like,
Facebook?
no way. And I forwarded it to my messenger.
On Facebook?
Yeah.
Dude, you're like a detective.
I don't know what I have to
That
do.
video's every bit of 15 years old. Gotta be.
But it was amazing.
I mean, the sound effects are great. Honestly,
they are pretty good.
For 15 years old, that's good camera quality too. I don't even know what kind of phone that was.
It's probably a flip phone or the
It has to
first
be.
iPhone.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you appreciate my detective skills.
No, that was
and being able to find shit.
You're bringing stuff up that I remember doing and seeing. I just do not remember where you found it. But I do. I wake up often and see stuff in my memories. I'm like, dude, this is so tool. It's like such a tool bag thing. I mean, delete.
I mean, a lot of times I would pick on you for that. So
I'm glad I got.
So.
I probably got rid of some good quality things that you would have brought up. Like when ZV was talking about the homie prop, dude, there was some homie prop stuff. Thank God I found before you did. That was such a tool bag.
So who was that kid you were doing a lot of stuff with Rock River? Charbonneau?
That's Tristan Charbonneau. Yeah,
Charbonneau.
Yeah, he
okay.
was.
Like, just tell me some of the backstory stuff with that, because I know that you did a lot of stuff with him, and I got a couple of really good pictures, things like that from that. Let's see. No, that video. Telling Danielle to F off. We got to definitely talk about the Rodney thing. No, that is on that thing.
ZV said, look at your phone. He sent you a pit bike track. But you ain't got to do it right now. But he sent you a picture of his video of his pit bike track.
He doesn't have my number, though.
Yeah, he just said from the number he called.
That's my work number on the computer. It's not my cell number. That's the show's phone number.
I'll send him your number.
I have it. Tell him I'll call you. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Stalker, fucking weirdo.
So here, I guess of the MMI stuff, the gain from MMI was
this picture. Yeah, that was wrenching with him, right?
Yeah, that was at Loretta's. That was a really good year actually. That had to been like 09. That was Mini-O's.
There's you on the right holding up number 1.
Yeah, that was Mini-O's either 09 or 2010.
Yeah, I can see Winter Olympics in the background.
Yeah, I think he won four championships at Mini-O's that year.
Oh, I jerked it to this picture talking about you being a tool bag, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna use that for the
That was at Soap Creek. Not Soap Creek, at fucking Sweetwater Creek. Well,
there's one of you on the gate. Oh, here it is. That's him, right?
Yeah, that was that looks like Gatorback too.
All right.
That's Mitchell Harrison.
On the right?
Yep.
Okay, because I couldn't remember, but I thought that was Ryder D.
Ryder D was much for a second. Ryder D was on 50s then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And then on the right is Mitchell Harrison. It looks like
382. I don't know. That
Tanner Stack.
Ah,
okay. I was about to
okay.
say that looks like his dad standing next to me. So Tanner trained at Naria at Izzy's place when we were there. But that is Christina Older.
I know that.
That's actually Mill Creek.
I know that's Mill Creek.
Yeah.
I've seen that enough. Just like I only saved this one because I know this track. Pax track. I fucking love Pax track. Oh my god, it's one of the.
Did the blue stands give it away?
Yes. Well, not only that, like the dirt alone. There was a picture that you text me that wasn't even one that I pulled for this, and I thought I sent it to me, but I guess I didn't. But you on a Suzuki, and here it is. No, you sent me the other one.
Oh, that's
I
Pax.
saved this one. I can tell this is Pax just from the greenery and the dirt.
Yeah.
But dude, I was at a race one time there. Rained for hours. They have that thing built so well. The drainage, Second Motos was perfect.
Yeah.
It was unreal. But dude, the dirt of that place is, from what I understand of it, just oh my god, I feel like an idiot. I'm like 6 whiskey shots deep. Just bear with me, people.
Are you really?
I mean, not really. But mulch, as it
absorbs?
Not absorbs, breaks down. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Deteriorates?
Maybe. I don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, I guess you just say breaks down. That's what the dirt ends up being. It's like mulch over the years.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's the most perfect dirt for whatever reason. But I try to go to PAX like every 2 to 3 years. Like we weren't able to go on that trip, but that was planned.
Yeah,
that's around that same
PAX is a track that will make you feel good.
Yes.
Like you want a little.
It's massive tables with like you can float on it and you just feel like a superhero. Yeah. And they just did Adam and Carson Brown just did a cool video there that I plan to watch soon. But yeah, I love those things. But anyways, back to Tristan. So yeah, tell me some of the stuff that went on with him.
I met Tristan's family when I was at MMI. When I was getting ready to graduate, they had this board. It was like in the break room, and it was like they post jobs. Like, hey, it was just dealerships looking for this, looking for this, looking for this. So there were 2 jobs up there, and this is when I was getting ready to graduate. And one of them was like motorcycle mechanic for motocross racer, and there was one for like a motocross team. So I ended up calling up both of them, setting it up. One of them actually was. Oh, dude, why do I keep doing that? Maybe I should like. One of them was Butler Brothers. I want to say they were out of like Clearwater or Tampa, but
Brooksville.
Okay, yeah. And they needed like some cheap help or something. So like I like interviewed for a gig with them, and then I even went down to like that area to look. For some reason, why do I keep thinking Clearwater?
Well, I know that it was Brooksville because the best man in my wedding, my buddy Corey, his house, his home or childhood home was 2 streets over from their training facility in Brooksville. Brooksville, Spring Hill area, yeah. 'Cause we actually jumped the fence one time and like walked the whole track when nobody was there.
Nice. But yeah, so I there was that, and then there was the motocross job. So I called about both of those jobs, and then not knowing like where I was going or anything, like talked to this guy, and he was, oh yeah, my kid races. We're in Albany, Georgia. We need a mechanic full time. Blah, blah blah. All right, cool. He's like, when can you come and like meet us and talk to us? Well, all right, cool. So like maybe this weekend, whatever. So like at this point, I'm getting ready to graduate. I'm looking for a job like ASAP. So I ended up like that.
And don't worry, MMI placed you.
Oh, I'm sure they did. Yeah, I'm sure they got some sort of credit for it or kickback. So I ended up driving to Albany from Orlando, and I pull in. Never been to Albany before, and like I pull into this like motocross track in the middle of like the hood. It's East Oak Ridge is like just this area where it's not the best part of Albany, Georgia. Pull in, and
like you get off the track from riding, you lock your bike up to the trailer.
Dude, it's a rough area.
Hey, there was a time where that was how Croom was in Dade City too. Like I've known plenty of people that got their stuff stolen from Croom.
Well, I'm about to say I can't remember who it was exactly, but after I'd already left, somebody's whole trailer got ransacked, and like 3 or 4 of their bikes got stolen out of here.
Yeah.
But that's after I gone. But so yes, I drove down there, pull in, see like this big rig, and I'm like, damn, who's this shit? And it ended up being Tristan's like full, I don't remember what kind of hauler, concept hauler with like a stacker trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, a mini bike rider is this that? And then, so I'm like, this is pretty legit setup. So I sit down with his dad, fucking gnarly dude, tattoos, earrings, rings, look like a band, like a guy of a 80s band or something. And Nario, Nico's dad, and we're sitting there, and anybody that's ever met Nario, he's a gnarly dude.
Yeah,
he's just a big
I was
Italian.
Gonna say, when I've seen him at Sand Mountain a few other times, I remember he's a
big dude. Yeah. And just this Italian, like no bullshit, like straight edge dude. And like, so I sit down, interview with them guys, and they're just basically asking me some questions or whatever, and ended up like landing the job, graduated, and just moved straight there from Orlando and started there. And then ended up, I learned a lot of shit through like Troy, which is Tristan's dad. Just like, I guess, efficient way of breaking these bikes down, because he'd been doing it this whole time.
Yeah.
And then now they own like a truck, like a trucking company, truck car wash or whatever, truck wash out in Washington State. And so it was crazy. In MMI, you learn all 4-stroke stuff. Now I'm going back to 2-stroke stuff. I ain't done 2-stroke stuff in years. So now I'm having to relearn all this 2-stroke stuff. And so Troy was just like breaking down everything for me. Pretty easy once you get to know it. Like 2-stroke stuff's pretty easy. So I ended up getting the 2-stroke stuff lined up. And then we were just there every day, with Nario. It started out with Tristan, and there was a kid from Canada, Cole Vardy. And I want to say Tanner Stack might have already been there by then. But there weren't many people there to begin with. And then Tristan started to do really good. And then next thing you know, there's like a whole like boatload of people started to come train there. And it was like, dude, they're running motos every day. Like it was like an MTF style setup. So, and then Tristan got really good, really fast. And I was obviously mechanicking for him, so I got to see a lot of cool stuff with, all that progression. And then taking a kid that was basically mid-pack rider to like winning championships within like a year to 2 years. And then I think out of that class of racers, like the only one that's still around is Fortner. So
yeah, because I was gonna ask like because I don't remember the name, but other than seeing good posts and things like that with him. So what ended up coming up?
I want to say it was like the picture of me like go or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That was like one of the last years at Loretta's and in that class. And he, I remember Fortner came out of nowhere, dude. It was like the fast kids were, and you may not remember any of these names, but because they were 85 riders, but it was like Tristan, a kid named Tristan Miller. There was a rookie White. There was another Mark Worth. There's just a whole list of like these young guys. And then Fortner was like just some kid at Loretta's. He had like glasses, little short dude, and rode like these Suzukis with like no real sponsors on them. And the kids just like checking out on all these kids that are supposed to be winning.
Yeah.
And then that was, the rest of history.
Yeah.
And basically from there, Fortner is what he is now. Tristan, I want to say he ended up after that, they moved back to Washington. I went up there for a little bit and ended up moving back here. And Tristan ended up going to big bikes, got a Geico deal. And that wasn't long after Geico. He signed with Geico. He got hurt several times. And then I think he went over to like Europe or something, raced over in France or somewhere for Bud Cowie or something. I can't remember exactly who it was, but he went over there and then basically just over it. I don't talk to him too much anymore. I still talk to his parents every once in a while. Feel cool with them.
That's good.
Tristan he's like building these old trucks and stuff now, like fabbing some old like lifted trucks and like chopping them and making them longer and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Like locally or
no? I think he lives in Washington. I think.
Well, I actually meant in the States, not Europe. Still.
Yeah. No. He's back here. But it's funny because he was in between motos. This kid used to always break little toy dirt bikes apart and then like put them back together and just had shit everywhere, like toy dirt bike broken apart everywhere. And now he's like a fabricator, welding this stuff.
No, that's like a lot of the stuff that I do with my kid. Like he's into breaking. He loves smashing cars and doing all kinds of things. It's like, do it, dude. Whatever. Yeah.
Couple bucks, buy you another one.
Actually, the other day, my dad picked him up after school, and he just gave him like a hammer and nails and built like a axe, he called it, by himself with like the long nails and like all kind. I was like, I thought my dad did it for him, and then I've come to find out that no, he did it all on his own. I was like, yeah, same thing.
Tinkering,
like you're looking
around,
dude. Some of the cool Power Wheel stuff that I built for him, like the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine and the other thing, like I give him the impact gun and I'm just like, I let him zip the bolts off and then I'll start them and let him zip them on kind of thing. Like let him tinker with that stuff. Whatever. Love it. Speaking of all the mechanic stuff, I've kind of had so much fun with this. I forgot about some of the segments and stuff that we need to do. Like the tech tips.
Now it's time for some awesome tech tips.
Transform your comfort with Innovative Mechanical LLC, specializing in HVAC service for residential and commercial properties. They provide expert installation, maintenance, and repair. Their certified technicians ensure top-notch service, whether it's air conditioning, heating systems, or indoor air quality solutions. Serving Georgia since 1999, they prioritize customer satisfaction with prompt, reliable service at competitive rates. Routine maintenance to emergency repairs. Trust Innovative Mechanical LLC for all your HVAC needs. Give them a call at 770-726-7407 or visit innovativemechanical.llc.com to schedule service and unparalleled comfort today.
You done taking a pee? Come on. Let's get this going. All right. Super simple one.
Here's an awesome little tech tip for you. Drain the fuel on a bike. Kind of a pain in the ass. You actually take I'll show you. Take that off. Take it upside down. Put that in the hose. Most of the time, the hose will actually hold it in place. You can just do about your business. Much easier than a funnel.
Be honest, have you ever thought about doing that?
But didn't you have a bike here?
That's that bike.
Oh, why is it not up here?
Because I went to race it and then busted a head gasket. And I fixed the head gasket and then the water seals leak. And then I fixed the water seal leak the other day because I wanted to actually get it back in for this season. And then I started up and it was running like shit. So I think I actually need to get reed valves and then other stuff. And then 3 days later, I break my arm. So
just go ahead and shit can this whole show. I want to redo it with the bike in the background. That's basically the only reason I came here.
Too bad.
Okay.
Yeah. Too
Cool.
bad. Sorry. Can't happen.
Another great story.
No, but for real, like, I plan to have it back up after, like, for the first season. It just, this kind of jacked me up. So.
No, that's pretty cool though.
Yeah. But anytime I'm working on a bike, like, I have just so many little tips. And honestly, that was one of the things I was going to bring up, like, with the things that Tristan's dad taught you. And a lot of it is, I'm not a great mechanic, but I've learned the procedures you put in place. You know, like you were saying, like, there's an efficient way to do things, right? That's all you need to be a good mechanic.
Yeah.
So
fast, efficient, and
what makes the most sense to get the A to Z, right? Put that together.
Yeah.
So
that's like, dude, those Yamaha 85s, you could, they probably haven't changed too much since then, but who started to help me with those Yamaha 85s the most before him was David Kelly. You remember him? He was out of Macon, but he was Stu's like amateur mechanic.
Oh, yeah.
So he would come up to Albany and like help out a good bit.
Daniel's show, Hitchcock's and Brad.
Yeah.
Like, I know about him through Brad and his dad, Randy. They would always, apparently Dave would always try to pit with them because they all had the best food and whatever. Yeah. That's where the stories I know from him.
So when it came to those Yamahas, we ended up like, David could, over the phone, I could just be talking to him like, dude, this thing's bogging and not doing this. I rejetted it, done this. And he would just like, all right, let's start with this. You know, run it. Let's see what it sounds like. And he could hear over the phone, oh, you need to do this. And then if it was bad enough, he would actually come up to Albany and like, we'd have like 3 or 4 bikes that needed help. I needed help with, and he would like help tear them down. And dude was like just a genius when it comes to bikes. And so he helped me out with a ton of the Yamaha stuff. And then that ended up obviously just soaking all that in when I could, and then remembering it. But when you tear those things apart and put them back together so many times, like a little tech tip you just did there, do you just come up with like an assembly?
Yeah.
It's just like efficient. Like it's easy. That's why I'll never forget how to tear apart a 85.
It's almost like, and you learn from your mistakes. And that's kind of what I was saying with the MMI thing, like where it's better to start it. If you learn some of your basics and then go to a shop and learn a little bit more basics, you learn from another guy. You learn by going, oh, I shouldn't have put the pipe on before putting this part on because you can't put this part on before putting the pipe on, kind of thing. So you learn a lot of those things, and you honestly, you carry that over to the next bike where you work on, where, all right, I took this apart in this order. I put it back together in this order. And it's the same way, like, I have a set procedure where I could take a bike apart, not touch it for 3 years, and I could put it back together in the same order because of how I lay it in the bin and how I put it in the magnets.
When we did the RM that day, you had the little baggies and you labeled them. And, hey, dude, you're going to need this. You're going to need this.
Yeah. That's kind of funny because I was going to actually bring up, like, why are you an MMI mechanic, but you brought me your RM motor?
I mean,
you know,
proof's in the pudding. Great school.
So actually, why don't we hit on that one? Because those are pictures. And before we do, I also got to do.
Our next segment is brought to you by Hard Knocks Racing. They're a group of dedicated motorcycle enthusiasts since 1998. They're your go-to for Campfire Moto official gear. Soon launch an apparel line of. They excel in crafting all kinds of custom decals, like this badass sign behind me, from custom signs to bus wraps and office customization. In fact, check out this work Anthony did at one of the well-known Japanese manufacturer's office, who will be nameless. They also crafted awards for prestigious events such as the Perry Mountain 24-hour race, Bull Creek Spring Classic, Deka Hair Scramble Series, and many more for local racetracks in the Southeast. Check out hardknocksracing.com or Anthony D'Amico a call at 404-717-480.
Great, guys. Camera's on me where I'm showing off my shirt right now. Go Hard Knocks. Block it with the thing. All right. So what were we talking about? Let me get out of that. And then we were going to look at Yeah, the RM, because I stole some pictures from your social media. So yeah, let's look at this thing right here.
Oh,
You
yeah.
tore that thing all the way down.
Uh-huh.
Why is there a laptop there?
So, funny story. There was this dude, he actually just recently passed away from cancer.
Oh, no.
But he had, so those 01 RMs were like a breed of their own. They were not like an 02. They were not like the later generations. But the power valve setup on those were very unique. There were a lot of parts missing in this engine when I took it apart. Like, before we got to like the inside splitting the cases, like the clutch side of things, there were things missing in the power valve. But I found that dude on YouTube, and he basically rebuilds this entire, like he did like a 20 episode rebuild of this bike.
Oh, dude, I know what guy you're talking about. Yeah, when he passed away.
It was like a redheaded dude, tall redheaded dude.
Like people were sharing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, he was like a cool dude that did like a bunch of builds.
But he knew that bike inside and out, and he had done a build on it. And then I was watching his videos, and I'd go over them over and over and over again, and putting that bike back together. And I can't remember his name, but he had a huge following on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what the YouTube was for.
Huh, that's.
I wish I remembered his daggum name.
Yeah, I know it because of after he passed, like so many people were mourning a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a sad deal. He had
this was my doing right here. They can see the picture now. So
yeah, that was after.
Yeah. So essentially, Corey brought me just the engine. That was the first time you'd been to this house. This is your second time, but yeah. And you know what's funny? I just remember this. Josh randomly stopped by that day. Yeah. Remember?
I don't know. Yeah. I was getting ready to leave, and he pulled in.
Driving by and just pulled in.
He called you or something, right?
No, I think he just pulled in.
Yeah.
Like he recognized your truck
and was driveway right now.
No, he's probably in my bed or like your bed. He's probably in your bed right now. Yeah, that's probably what's going on.
Oh my God.
Have you checked in with your wife?
She was texting me a while ago.
Okay.
She said she tried to comment.
She was texting me too. She said she's okay. Anyways, yeah, you brought this thing over to have me split the cases.
That was a fun one. You made it look easy.
It's not easy.
I mean, dude, I haven't split cases. And here's another thing. Most of the stuff when it comes to splitting cases, when I was working, especially for Tristan,
this was brought up on on the show with Frank too. Go ahead, say it.
We would just send the motors.
Oh no, that's different. Okay.
So, dude, Tristan had at least 8 bikes, right? Between practice bikes, his race bikes, stock mod, whatever. You gotta think. Super minis. So there was a guy. BPM in Florida. And
I know him. It was
George.
George.
Yeah,
George.
George. Yeah. George would build the race motors. So once we'd trash so many of them, I would just take them all out of the bikes, take them down there, and
down a dirt road.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I don't know if you ever been to a shop, but you pull in. He's got like a drag race background, so you pull in, and dude's just got this old gnarly Suzuki Gixxer. I guess it's one of his old race bikes.
Yeah.
In his shop, and dude's got a dyno in there and everything. Yeah. But he would build Tristan's bike. So anytime it came to splitting cases, I took them all to him, and he basically would do all the engine work on the inside. Most of the time we ship them to him, but there were times like if we needed him like for a race or whatever, like going to Loretta's or whatever, I'd just take bikes down there. He'd dyno them, and he'd send me back with a bunch of like ceramic coated pistons, bring them back, and then like Yamaha
probably ceramic bearings that were in the motors and all kinds
everything.
of stuff.
It was like a kit. He would give me like stuff that he already had done. Hey, this goes here, this goes here. But at Loretta specifically, I remember Yamaha was like very specific to like one moto on a top end. I'm like, all right. So like I change piston like every race. And it was just like, doesn't need this, but whatever. And you'd pull it out and dude, the top of the piston head's still white from the coating. It's like, George was another good one, motor builder. And me and him are still friends on social media. He's racing again.
What?
Yeah. Last I saw, he's still racing. So he built some.
He was old back then when in 05 when I went to his shop.
He built couple guys race bikes for like Supercross and stuff too.
You'd see the BPM logo on shrouds and
Yeah.
stuff. Kyle Keelan was
Keelan, yeah, I forgot all about Keelan.
Yeah.
That was another guy that was at the 4-stroke national, stuff like that.
Yep. I was racing him at Dade City in the spot. I don't know if I could say racing him. I was on the track
at the same time.
Yeah.
You weren't competing. You were just...
I was the 20. No, I was the 19th guy in the main event, if you want to call it, for the whole sponsor cup. But I was out there.
So that's Michael would, back to Sizemore stuff, when I would ride like the C class or B class or whatever, he would run all the open money classes. And if we'd go to some of these races, you had to have so many riders or they wouldn't pay out. So he would, a lot of it was Calhoun. Calhoun was like that.
Bremen
was probably like that. Yeah.
My buddy Scotty, that was on 2 episodes ago, he and I kind of hustled Bremen a whole series because of that.
So Michael would, dude, sign up for open money. It was I think it was free to even sign up for it. Like you just So
well, what was fucked up about it? If you're the only one, you pay $35 for the pro class in a lot of these scenarios. But if you sign up, it's $35 for 2 people. Then you get paid back like $1.50.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Like you would need at least 2, like however the payback worked out. I can't remember the math at this point. But yeah, it would make more sense to get somebody else to sign up.
Yeah. And
then
the
you
more
split
people,
the money.
Yeah.
You know.
And, well, what ended up happening? There were several times I said they'd pay top 3. By the end of the night, some of the dudes wouldn't even finish. They wouldn't show up for the second moto, so they would leave or they'd get hurt. And there were several times, I know 2 times for sure, I'd made like $75 because I finished top 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting lapped by dudes at Bremen, Michael being one of them. But he was like, dude, sign up. There was one deal at Calhoun. That was a year I was going to try to go to Loretta's, and I signed up for open money in C class at Calhoun. And I'm not going to say any names, but it was a lady that ran it back then, and she was not wanting to pay me the money because she says, if you accept this money and you go to Loretta's, this could be like, you could be protested or something because you took money. I'm like, it's like $50. Like, but whatever. Like,
no, it's true. And that's why I, at that point, said, well, screw it. And I'm just going to A and started like to get pro points to get the pro license kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because once I found
they don't
out,
do that
like,
no more, do they? The pro point, like you could do like the pro-am races. And...
Yeah, that's how it was back then. But it's, like I said, I was 25 until I went, fuck this. I'm not the guy. It was a Pelster 818. Anybody?
Yeah, I know exactly what it is.
He said, yo, CBR.
CBR or CRB?
CRB. Sorry. Habit CBR.
Is he
CRB?
You want to call in?
I don't know.
Is he not burned down in California?
Well, he's definitely wide awake if he's in California. You got his number? Text him. See if he wants to call in. Before we do that, how long do you think we've been doing this? You know what time it is without looking at your phone?
Too late.
Oh. Do you need to get home? Is your wife and 7-month-old baby very concerned?
Dude, this is. I didn't realize it had been this long.
I know. Nobody does.
3 hours. 3 hours and 20 minutes.
3.5. I was gonna say 3 hours 20 minutes. 3.5 hours is what I was gonna say.
So Pelster is another video game buddy.
Oh yeah.
That I've been playing video games with for like 15 years.
And which I'm gonna go ahead and name drop for you because I know you won't do it. But you play video games with Zacho and Carmichael and shit like that. Like,
yeah, but that's
iRacing stuff. Like you guys are friends because of that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's iRacing. Video games I've been introduced to a lot of people through video games. But ZV was already friends with Zacho. Like I'm pretty sure it was in real life. Yeah, in real life. And then he kind of like mashed all that together.
Yeah.
And then we started doing the iRacing thing. And then we had like a whole iRacing team with like, there's a group of us, dude. It was, and then, RC was on.
I remember hearing about this a long time ago when you were like, I don't remember
I posted this like 2 years ago when we were like getting heavy into iRacing. I'd post like the videos.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I side message you like, dude, you're racing fucking Carmichael and Zacho?
Well, there were like some fast dudes in that. There were some guys that like actually race NASCAR. I don't know if they're not dudes are going to win, but
and I won't know who the fuck they are.
And that's the thing too on iRacing, you can go into a public lobby and see a pro racer in a public lobby, and you can talk to one another.
Yeah,
for the amount of time that you're racing and stuff. But yeah, it's crazy, like the world we live in. But yeah, Zacho was introduced to me through ZV. They already knew each other, and then pretty sure Zacho kind of put together all that other stuff with RC and some other guys, and it was a fun run. It's a lot of dedication to commit to an iRacing series, because it was Monday nights, and they start qualifying at like 7, and they will start without you, like it doesn't matter. And then they got penalties and everything. If you have too many penalty points, you get disqualified, and commit to a full season. It was rough, but it was fun. It's anybody that ever does iRacing can tell you it's a blast. It's very addicting.
So it's funny you make comments like these people might not know you. I bet Zacho might remember me slightly when I met him in person. It was at the WW National, like the COVID National, right? And that was shortly after the whole Sabachi thing.
Okay.
When he won the championship. So I turned around, and he's on one of the things, and steps off, and I just turn around, and he's like, "Me to you." And I go, "Zacho." He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Dude, that shit with you taking out Sabachi was the greatest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life." And he was just kind of, and I've heard a lot of the things on pods with him now where he felt so bad about it, where I feel like the look on his face was kind of like just made him feel bad enough where he might remember me saying that to him.
Well, it's the not remembering part. So me saying that I met people, they have no clue who I fucking am.
Yeah. So, I'm going to get to this.
So Zacho, this was after Tristan. I don't know if I think he was affiliated, like he owned Club MX or something. It had something to do with Club MX. But
I started it with Brandon Haas.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
So I was up there with 2 other riders, and helping those kids out. And then Zacho was actually there, on the track or whatever. And I'm like with a group of like 4 or 5 people, and Zacho's in the little mix, and we're all just kind of like talking in a circle or whatever. And obviously later on in life, when I actually get to know Zacho, I'm like, "Dude, you remember me being at Club MX?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Yeah, you kind of like cool guyed me." I was like, "Dude, you're kind of like didn't really say much." And he's like, "Dude, I don't remember you at all being there." And I was like, "Whatever." But just another one of those moments of like the fly on the wall, like no one remembers me being there, but I was there. I've been in a lot of really cool situations, but Zacho, dude, I wish somebody would do like a full-on documentary of like where he came from, like to where he is now.
Get him on. I'll do it. I'll do all my crazy research and my Facebook stalking. And honestly, that's kind of more what Whiskey Throttle does. Like they go through the whole thing. I don't really want it. That's his wheelhouse. I would just want funny stories.
Well, who does Whiskey Throttle?
Ingrid.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
And was he just go through, take a rider?
Yeah, like from the start to
finish
kind of thing is what his thing is, pretty much.
Zacho's a voice of reason for sure, especially in like the group chats, like where he's the dad. ZV is out of control. Like ZV he's left field. Just
I was gonna say, don't put me in those group chats because I'll probably put ZV down dude, ask Brantley, like, dude, the shit that I say.
Well, I've known you long enough. You've said some, cringe.
Cringe like
stuff.
Just saying I'd motorboat that chick, and you're like, that's my girlfriend.
That's my girl. You're like, oh, hey, still, say it still stands. I would still.
All right, so we probably should start to wrap this thing up. So one of the things that we definitely need to hit on, because I made a really awesome video for Rodney and Cheese. So you said Rodney, my last guest. You actually know Rodney.
Yeah.
So, but there's a funny story to it. So I don't know it at all. Tell me the story.
So Rodney, I was at a dog park. So I was at a dog park with my dog. This is every bit of 10 years ago, 15 years ago when I first moved here. And I'm over there, I got the dog running around, and my dog was like a pit bull mix, and she's running around with this big, like, was it like a bull mastiff or something? I don't remember what kind of dog he had. And it's just this big, mean looking dog.
Do you remember what park it was? Was it Pittner by chance?
No.
No? Okay. I'm just curious because that's really close. So.
Does Burger Park? No.
I don't know.
Either way. So I'm at this dog park and all this is going on. And I see this dude walk up and he gets his dog. And it was the dog that my dog was playing with. And I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? It's my dog, blah, blah. And this guy's wearing like a fly sweatshirt or something. And I'm like, you ride? And he was just like, yeah, I ride motorcycles. Oh, cool. I was like, yeah. And I'm thinking this guy like, yeah, fucking sure you do. Like, nice sweatshirt, dude, or something. It was something along the lines of that. And then he was like, yeah, I ride street bikes. I do stunts. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Because, I mean, like, let's be real.
Yeah, dude, kind of like how Zacho Cool Guy, dude.
Yeah.
Go watch the first episode with Joe and hear how it's the epitome of the cool guy thing. Like, dude, we ride too.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say he was being a dick, but he was just like, he's like, yeah, I ride motorcycles. I'm like, all right, cool. And then, so we get to talking. Like, yeah, I used to race. I still ride, a little bit here and there or whatever. And he was just like, oh, cool. Yeah, cool. It's like, well, yeah. He's like, I was like, dude, well, you come here much? And like, I just moved here. And he's like, yeah, add me on social media. And I follow him on social media. And I'm like, damn, this dude's like legit. Like, he's got, what, I don't know how many thousands of followers he has.
We've got 30,000 now because that was talked about on the show.
Yeah, and I was just like,
last time.
I was like, wait, so this dude wearing his fly looks like a poser or whatever. It's like actually a legit motorcycle rider. And I ended up like, small talking, social media and stuff. And I randomly, he probably won't remember this, but I randomly was at this Mexican buffet. And
that sounds like it's coming out the other end real quick.
So he was there, and I randomly saw him at this Mexican buffet, and we had talked for a minute there, and then so fast forward like 2 or 3 months later, I lived near this like industrial like area.
Didn't you send me a video? Did you send me
at the time? Maybe.
Somebody did.
I lived near this industrial, like, where it's like all these abandoned buildings, and I hear what sounds like a fucking MotoGP race going on, and I'm like, dude, who in that? And it wasn't just one like flyby; it was just like, oh, it was just nonstop. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, I gotta go see what's going on over here. So I get on, I think my Zuma, and I jet over to this parking lot. And I see this dude on a motorcycle, and he's hauling ass, doing stoppies and everything. It was just like this old Lowe's parking lot or something. And I'm sitting there watching for a second. He pulls up, and he like takes his helmet off, and I realize it's fucking Rodney. I'm like, oh, what the hell? Like, that's random.
Oh, it was my buddy Kevin. He sent me a video that was very, very. And you know what? I'm gonna find this. It's in a group text with Bentley and a few other dudes, and I wonder if it's the same exact one. Funny enough, his name's Kevin Chisholm. Kevin Chisholm?
You don't know your friends?
Yeah, it's Kevin Chisholm. I fuck it up because Kevin and Kyle, right? Yeah, so he sent me this and was like, Rodney?
That's not me.
No, but is that the same?
No, that's not it.
Okay.
The one that he would go to was it was literally like an old Lowe's, just an abandoned like Lowe's.
Huh. Okay.
And he would wheelie and like rear tire tap like the yellow emergency columns or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the no drive past here columns.
Basically the posts that are there to take out the building.
Yeah.
Like, take out the post before you take out the building.
Yeah. And that honestly, that might be the last time I've seen Rodney. And that was forever ago. I mean, obviously we see him on social media and stuff, but that dude's into everything.
Yeah.
Now I messaged him the other day. He was doing some he was riding like a cross country bike on like a motocross track and like jumping like small tabletops and stuff. And I'm like, dude, where is that? Huh?
The Tenere? I think that's what he was on.
It was like a full like cross country bike, like enduro bike or something. But
well, he lives like 4 or 5 miles from here. And once you actually get to listening to the rest of the show, you'll get to hear. Trying to find it right now.
But yeah, I messaged him and was like, dude, where's that track at? That'd be a good track for me to get out there and shake the cobwebs off. And then he said they do like these really long rides. I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting my 250 on that.
So this is in his basement. And because you know about how I get on bikes, right?
Mm-hmm. The calendars.
Look how quick this happened. This is on his security camera.
Does he not know you're there?
No, he didn't at the time. My wife, him, and his girlfriend were talking. It's like that.
They
That
just
quick.
keep looping?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So was your camera?
So I set my phone like that to get his bike.
So did you use that picture?
It's gonna be on next year's calendar. But yeah, we went there to pick up a couch from him, the one that's in the living room. And I literally went, I gotta go inside for something, and was gone within 45 seconds. And they're like,
was the garage door open?
Well, it would. I don't want to explain his house, but yeah, you basically it's like downstairs.
Oh, so no one can see you ass naked around.
Yeah. But it was pretty funny. They thought it was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
But we're gonna wrap up the show. Unless you got other funny stories that you want to bring in. Do we want to talk about current hobbies? What are you into now? What are you big into right now? Tell me. What you just texted me the other day? You had to go.
I
do
love
something.
golf. Oh, jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah,
golf.
this isn't fucking Gypsy Tales. We're not talking about jiu-jitsu. Cut off. That was a setup. Sorry.
He does talk about jiu-jitsu a little bit, right?
Well, actually, no, he not anymore. It seems like that's kind of stopped. But no, I put together this video because like you said, you met Rodney at a dog park. He is probably the biggest dog lover of a person that I've ever met. So
that was Poop Face, I think, was the
first
one
that I can recall, and then Cheese. But Cheese just passed away on the 4th. Literally, it was his first Facebook post. It was right after coming on the show. And like 5 months ago, actually, he made a post about how bad his cancer was and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh, he's living then.
Oh, geez.
So the fact that he actually got to spend that little bit extra time with them was awesome. But we're going to play this, and then we're going to do my kid's story. We're going to play the outro, unless you got any other stuff to talk about before we do this.
I think we're good.
Well, dude, thanks for coming in. This has been a lot of fun, right?
It's been fun.
Yeah.
Have me back.
What? Maybe get Josh in or Lindsay or some other people. It'd be good times.
I'm sure there's some stuff I haven't said that will.
This is a little memory of Cheeseburger, an amazing pit bull. That's actually my kid and my Frankie. Look how little she is, right? Compared. I'm sitting over there with a blown out ACL.
Yeah.
You changing a tire?
No, I'm sitting in a chair because I blew out my ACL and just had knee surgery. That's over at Rodney's house.
Somebody shooting fireworks?
It's like a mini me, right? We'll miss your Cheeseburger. He was an amazing dog. But didn't he look like my dog? And he was just a big version of my dog, right?
Is that the dog downstairs?
Yeah.
Oh.
But she was this big compared to now.
Oh,
she was tiny at that point.
That's a sick bike. What is that? Is that a Cowie?
That's a stunt bike. Yeah, that's a ZX6. They can see it now. All right. We're going to close this out. Close all these things down. Get it to where we can actually see. What's that? There we go. Close that out. That over. All right. Well, I will say we'll be back in 2 weeks with another show. If you got a good story, call anytime, 844-789-2367. Which, you know what? Last year, I said, there's a dad joke in my phone number. If anybody, since you made a dad joke comment, can you figure out the 789-2367, like where the dad joke is in the phone number? Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 789. The phone number is 844-789-2367.
Did you pick that?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
I put a dad joke in my fucking my show's phone number.
I thought you had another video, your kid video or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna play that.
Oh.
I'm just saying, like, it just dawned on me that look, ADD and shit. All right, and I do my thing. It's my show. I do whatever the fuck I want. All right? I don't care. I do what I want. Did you just snort?
Not probably. Who's that in the top? The top picture.
The that?
Yeah.
Me? With like an animated AI thing that I was fucking with or whatever.
Is this the longest show you've ever done?
No,
Okay.
actually, it's not.
Surely no one will ever listen to this entire thing.
Somebody will listen to the whole thing and don't call me Shirley. Dude, you set me up with that one. That was great. All right, here's B's story he gave me yesterday about Mount Everest and him and Frankie riding it. So we're cutting off our mics, we're playing that, and we're going out. See ya.
The B. What story are you going to tell me today?
Me and Frankie were climbing a tree.
Okay.
And we climbed a tree on a mountain.
Doesn't sound like a motorcycle story.
And then we rode a motorcycle to get up the mountain. We found a road that leads up the mountain.
Okay. What mountain were you on?
Mount Everest?
Mount Everest?
Yeah.
What?
And there was a tree on the side of the road. We started to climb it, and we had all our climbing gear.
So you rode your motorcycle to Mount Everest. You found a tree. You climbed it with your climbing gear. Did Frankie not just use your claws and climb up?
Frankie, he was pulling me up and helping me.
Oh, she went up the tree first?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay. And what happened?
And then me and Frankie we found a house and there was somebody in it.
What? On top of Mount Everest?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, okay.
There was a little bit of campfires and there was no electricity, so they had campfires.
Oh, that makes sense.
They had a bunch of wood.
So, what was your favorite part on Mount Everest?
Meeting that new guy's house, the random guy's house. He told me his name was
His name was Random?
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, you know something really funny about Mount Everest?
Yeah.
You were at the top of Mount Everest. It's so cold. If you or Frankie were to poop up there, it would be there forever.
The poop would?
The poop would be there forever. It'd be frozen forever. Yep. Do you know that?
Oh.
So, did Frankie poop while she was up there?
He
didn't poop? Oh, her poop won't be up on Mount Everest
She
forever.
She only just ate a bit of cotton.
A bit of cotton.
and then a little tiny string came out of her butt. Yeah, that's what happened.
And to those listening, our dog eats cotton and her dog toys so much that we have to pull poop when it's attached to a cotton or a string all the time. Great story, B. Give me 5.
You wanna talk about a lead fit? I have got started in the darkness. With cups and rolling dice, we get no fucks now. Who think twice, yeah? And when this whole takes slower, felt like it was trying to shake us. Hold on to what we knew. It can try, but it never breaks us. It can try, but it never breaks us. And they talk about us growing up, like we can't function on this level. You laugh at who we are. You're the joke that's taken too far. So let's go crashing over. We won't let it stay. Just keep getting closer. Get used to it.